temperature in the upper 50s to low 60s and a nice breeze. There's Frank Beamer as we chronicle this historic moment. Virginia Tech's entry into the ACC football ranks is official. And a sellout crowd of close to 65,000 on to see it. Duke won the coin toss, deferred their choice to the second half. Chris Sprague is going to kick it off. Eddie Royal, Josh Hyman are deep, and we are underway with our 21st season of ACC football from Jefferson Private Sports. Royal brings it out of the end zone. Cuts left at the 10. Gets a nice block on the corner. Free at the 20 and out to the 27-yard line. 1st and 10 now for Virginia Tech as they come out. And Brian Randall brings them out. Randall, a senior who has started some 27 ball games here at Virginia Tech. We have a flag on the play. But there's Brian Randall out of Williamsburg, Virginia. Senior at 6 feet, 228 pounds. Standing there next to Billy Height. We have a block in the back against Virginia Tech. Scott McKelvey, our official. And we are backed up already to the Virginia Tech 5-yard line. There goes Brian Randall, a playmaker, a leading rusher on this team already.
And a great human being. I mean, this guy is a great team leader, runs the option, has an arm that's underrated, has some young receivers that can fly, and right now everything is going his way.
Kinzer and Cedric Humes are backed up in the eye behind him at the 5-yard line. 1st and 10, first play of the day for Virginia Tech. Hand off to Humes. Nice hole. Gets him out to the 10-yard line. Now let's take a look at our Chevy starting lineups. First with the Virginia Tech offense. And you look at those backs and receivers. Eddie Royal, Virginia State Player of the Year. He's a true freshman, as well as Josh Hyman, who's a redshirt freshman. Jeff King, John Kinzer, and Cedric Humes. The linemen up front, it's a good group, and they're led by John Dunn. He's a senior out of Virginia Beach. Look at his size, 341. Jimmy Martin, Reggie Butler, Will Montgomery, and James Miller complete the starting offensive line. 2nd down and about 5. At the 11, Randall. Hand off to the outside, it's Humes. And he has really hammered that out on the corner. And leading the way is going to be Brian Green as we take a look at that Duke defense, looking at our starting lineups. First, of course, the defensive line. Casey Camaro moving down from the end position. Justin Kitchen, Orrin Thompson, Eli Nichols. They lost Philip Alexander to injury for the season. Brendan Dewan leads the team in tackles. Giuseppe Aguano and Malcolm Ruff are the other 2 linebackers. And John Talley, touchdown for an interception last week against Connecticut. Daniel Charbonnet is a true freshman. 3rd down coming. And about 3, ball on the 13. Randall out of the gun. The pass is complete. And it's complete to a 1st down to Eddie Royal at the 18-yard line. 5-yard gain. Moves the chains. 1st and 10.
Talley actually broke on that very well for a cornerback. But Dunn kind of posted him up. The ball was thrown right between the numbers. He had no way of getting around. That's when he really needed to get his hands on.
Duke defense. Duke has jumped into the lead in its first 2 games and wound up dropping them. With Connecticut last week, they had a chance to win, missing the field goal, and then earlier than that to an outstanding offensive team in Navy. Randall, handoff Humes. And Humes slips as he comes into the hole. Daniel Charbonnet is in there on the tackle. And let's go to the sidelines, where for his 16th season he patrols them for us, Mike Hogwood.
Thanks a lot, Steve. And I'm here, of course, with the commissioner of the Atlantic Coast Conference, John Swofford. What a historic day. You really sense the excitement for Virginia Tech being in the ACC.
Mike, you really do. These fans are great, and they're legendary, and it's a terrific day, not only for Virginia Tech, but for the Atlantic Coast Conference.
It really does seem natural to have these guys here in Blacksburg as a part of the ACC.
It's such a natural fit, athletically, academically, geographically, any way you look at it. And I think it bodes well for the future, both for the league and for this great university.
There's Hamilton getting his first carry of the day. At the 30-yard line, it's going to be a pickup of about 12 yards. Let's go back down to Mike Hogwood.
Well, I noticed that you had the honors out there at midfield, and here's the coin. I think we have a shot of it. The Hokies on one side, the inaugural season on the other. That's quite a deal. That was quite a responsibility.
Well, it was, and it was an honor, and we did the same thing last Friday night in Miami for the Miami-Florida State game, with that being Miami's first game in the ACC.
You love coming to these games, don't you?
Well, I do. I'm a fan at heart, just like thousands of other people.
Kinzer fumbles the football. They're going to blow it dead. The side judge says that John Kinzer, the fullback, did not have possession of that flare pass from Brian Randall.
That was close.
That was close. That's a big break for Virginia Tech.
Tell you, Steve-O, the one thing that Duke has done so far, they've hung in there. They have not made a mistake. They're playing good football. And what you need now is a break as a road team. That was nearly it.
Oh, yeah. Eddie Royal comes wide out to the top side. Josh Hyman to the bottom. And it's second down and long here for Brian Randall. He's got one tight end. Likes to work out of a double tight end set. Likes to throw out of that, as coaches say. Play action, back to throw. Pocket breaks down, but that's where Randall makes it fun. And he gets another 5 yards out to about the 35-yard line. Brought down Giuseppe Iguano and others. Stack him up for the tackle.
Translate that for you. He likes two tight ends because he likes protection. I mean, this guy's a smart guy. And here he gets out on the grass, and he has unique skills. That time he did the right thing early on. Don't take a loose hit. Collect yourself, because Tech doesn't want to make mistakes itself at this point.
Well, Brian Randall has to be coaxed sometimes to get out of that pocket and run, unlike what a lot of quarterbacks do. Ryan Steinspring, the offensive coordinator, said yesterday, he said, he wants to complete the play as planned. Coming out of the pocket again. He'll tuck it under and get the first down on that last surge. Brought down by Orrin Thompson, but it's a gain of 7 and pushes him out to the 42-yard line.
And that's not all bad for Duke. The one that shows you pretty good coverage. I mean, he'd like to go downfield, but there's nowhere to go. And you see some aggressiveness coming on the part now. Malcolm Ruff trying to get in. For Duke right now, this is a good operation. Because, again, you want to bend, not break, don't give up the big play, contain, and try to get as many hits on the quarterback as possible.
He was kind of looking in the direction of that boundary corner, Daniel Charbonnet, the true freshman, who's in there for Duke this week, in for Kenny Stanford, who's injured. Here's the handoff, Justin Hamilton, and Hamilton pushes up to the 45-yard line. Hamilton's an interesting story. He came to Virginia Tech as a running back, was converted over to wide receiver, and this is how much confidence I think that Frank Beamer has in these young true freshmen at wide receiver. He can move him back in and back up Cedric Humes.
Says a lot about the kid's intellect as well, because he's got to study a lot. He knows exactly where to go, and of course, you lose D'Angelo Hall, you're used to that kind of production.
Ninth play of the drive, second down and about 5. Here's Randall to throw. Intercepted! Picked off on the corner and returned back. Who did they look at? It's Justin Kitchen, the defensive end, who dropped back. Almost like a 3-4 dump.
He really did. Again, that is not, we were praising Randall, who's had a brilliant season to this point. That's a bad mistake. I mean, he threw right into 41 in white. Kitchen's going, wow, this feels good. This is supposed to be for cornerback. Here I am, the big guy out here, 235 pounds. I've got the football in my hand, and that's exactly what Duke needed.
And Ted Rue, the guy who likes defense, and there's Kitchen. He was back there covering the tight end that time. First and 10, Duke comes out, and it's going to be Mike Schneider at quarterback. He guided the final scoring drive for Duke against Connecticut, but they missed the point after it. And the handoff comes to Fryer, who starts in there at the tailback spot, and he runs in to Burchett. Nolan Burchett, head on, number 96. There's Mike Schneider. There you see
a lot.
57% completions on his passes for 114 yards. He is a sophomore, actually, from Sharon, Pennsylvania.
He did something I like. He used the snap count. If you use a non-rhythmic snap count today, you can gain an advantage.
Second down and 11. Fryer, the lone setback. Double tight end set. Virginia Tech may come on this one. They'll stay at home. Fryer picks his way off left tackle and gets it down to the 35-yard line. We continue our look at the starters here, the Duke offense, and you take a look at Ronnie Elliott. He's in there for Santario Landrum, who's out this week with an injury. Leading receiver, Justin Boyle, a true freshman. Andy Rowland, a converted tight end. Corey Thompson and Ben Patton, the true tight end. The offensive line, Christian Mitchell, the only returning starter. Dan Mooney is the key at center with Chris Best, Tyler Craig, and Jim Moravchik. Third down coming, no score. Duke trying to take advantage of a turnover here. They force Virginia Tech into an interception. They're at the Hokie 35-yard line. Handoff, Flyer met in the backfield. Burchett is there. And also there, big number 95, Jim Davis, fifth-year senior out of Highland Spring, Virginia, in on the tackle.
Big Jim is everything you want. in the down line. Big physical guy that gets off blocks well. And that had to be a mishap in blocking scheme because they had nobody on. That was a perfect no-hitter.
Duke gets very little out of it, and they're going to go into punt formation. Trey McDonald back to punt now for the Duke Blue Devils.
Unusual formation.
Richard Johnson there. Then they come back in. Then it's going to be a pass out of it. And it is complete. And it's close to the first down, and it may be just enough.
I think he has it.
Caught by Andy Rowland. An unusual formation as Duke puts 3 guys to the top side.
Again, don't be predictable. That was one of our keys. And this is a great time to take advantage of it. Good throw and catch under pressure. You've got great field position. And just like that, this crowd has been silenced. That was important.
That's what Ted Roof wants to do. He said, we got to keep our feet firmly rooted in the ground and keep thinking ahead. Put the last 2 weeks out of our minds and get this one going.
Don't be conservative, baby. Let your hair down.
Yeah. Slot is in motion. That's Chancellor Young, the true freshman. We got a whistle. And we got a timeout taken by the Duke Blue Devils. We'll take it with them. No score. Duke operating in the Virginia Tech end of the football field on Virginia Tech's first day in the ACC.
Wake up with Sports Rise every morning at 6 here on Comcast Sportsnet.
Welcome as Citgo presents ACC football from Jefferson Pilot Sports. No score here in Blacksburg. Duke with the ball in Virginia Tech territory. 1st and 10 from the 28. That's Chancellor Young in motion. Handoff Justin Doyle. And Doyle met right at the heart of that Virginia Tech defense. Let's take a look at that Tech defense. I hadn't had a chance to look at it yet. Jim Davis stayed out last season with a pectoral muscle injury. He's back. Nolan Burchett, Jonathan Lewis, and Darryl Tapp, the front 4. The linebackers, Vince Hall, redshirt freshman, has really come in. They've been hit by injuries. Jimmy Williams moves over to that quarterback position. Eric Green, James Griffin, the heat seeker, and Vincent Fuller completes the DBs.
I like what Duke has continued to do is to try to run the football. No matter how discouraged you get, stay with it. I talk about being unusual. How about that formation?
Well, they got Kurt Dukes now in as an H-back. The setback is Boyd. And the end-around handoff. They got that the first down and more. Might have a touchdown. Yes, it is. Touchdown, Duke. That's Dion Adams, a wide receiver, a sophomore from Greensboro, North Carolina, comes all the way around from the other side of the field and stuns this Virginia Tech crowd.
Steve, part of the reason you want the formations is you want to make the defense think. What Virginia Tech does well, their best rather, is go after you in an aggressive state. So what do? You change formations. They started in bunch. They went out and spread. Then they had motion. Then you run a reverse, and it was blocked. 218.
Trey McDonald will hold for Matt Brooks, going for the point after 2 out of 3 in point after kicks. This one is good, and the Duke Blue Devils put the hush on the crowd here at Lane Stadium after an interception. Takes them downfield, and Dion Adams on the end around takes it in for 6. Back after this word from your local ACC station.
Information you need to determine if hair restoration is right for you.
One of 7 true freshmen to earn a varsity letter last year for Duke. Dion Adams scores on the end around. There you go. Look, we've got some fans, and so does Duke. Praying for a miracle. Well, this is the 3rd straight week that Duke has taken the lead. On the scoring drive, capped by Adams' 28-yard end-around run. 6 plays, 39 yards. 3 minutes and 19 seconds, and it has Ted Roof in a good frame of mind, at least here early. Chris Sprague getting ready to kick off.
Well, it never hurts to be ahead.
Oh, boy.
I don't care what time of the game it is, and when you take this great crowd out of the game, as Duke has done, it says volumes. Also putting points on the board versus a turnover, and then creating a big play on your own in special teams. As you well know, Beamer ball is all about special teams.
Exactly.
They went right after their throat now, buddy. They stood right up in their chest and shown them what it is to man up.
Now they've got to learn how to play with a lead as Chris Sprague gets ready to kick it away. Going to be a short kick. Well, has it at the 8. Well, picks his way through. There was a missed tackle there, and that's where Virginia Tech will take over at the 26-yard line. Let's go back to the sidelines and Mike Hogwood.
Nothing to fire up a team on the sidelines like a touchdown. Ted Roof went to every offensive player and said, way to go. We can do this today. We can do it. And Deion Adams himself showing a lot of leadership on the sideline. This guy out of Smith High School in Greensboro, North Carolina, has got tons of speed, and they sure used it on that touchdown.
Ted Roof has had a couple of good recruiting years with this staff under, of course, the previous coach, and with his first recruiting season, he got 14 kids out of the Atlanta area. They're seeing a lot of them today as the injuries pepper the depth chart. Handoff now goes to Cedric Humes, and he gets up over the 25-yard line to the 26. A modest gain of about 2. Giuseppe Aguano in on the tackle. Frank Beamer on the sidelines, Doc.
The tough thing about this game is how much energy you have to generate. And right now, Virginia Tech clearly doesn't have that energy, and Duke does. They've got to suck the life out of Duke in order to get back in this ball game.
Out of the eye, Randall has Royal wide to the wide side of the screen. To the top side, it's Josh Hyman. Play action, Randall looking left first. Comes back to his right. Nobody's open. And in the open field, he is knocked out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Randall making something out of a broken play, and coming up to make the tackle there was Alex Williams.
It was really good in terms of, you need someone to spy on the quarterback that has good mobility. Here, again, Duke, pretty good pressure. Now, watching there, you're the linebacker. You feel like you're in trouble. You do have the out of bounds as an additional defender. That's a good job by Duke.
Yet they yield some yardage on it. Brings up 3rd down and 2. All at the 33-yard line. And a whistle goes off. And the flags fly in the middle of the formation. And this could be.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 61, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
It's the new provision in college football this year. We note the guilty party on the penalties. Let's take a look at our Aaron scoreboard. Big game in Morgantown today between two border rivals. West Virginia leading Maryland 7-0. Michigan and San Diego State are knotted up at 7-all. Central Florida and Penn State scoreless at State College this afternoon. 3rd down now and 7 instead of 3rd and 2. Randall back to throw. Blitz is on. Scrambling for his life. Throws it out of there. And
Ill-advised. Ill-advised. I mean, that could have been picked off and taken in for a touchdown. And believe it or not, but Duke, they're in his head at this point. Randall has not played well. Despite a pretty decent start, throwing the football, he has made 2 bad decisions. This could have been extremely costly.
Alex Williams and DeAndre White coming in to provide some pressure, as Duke has not been reticent to throw people in there. And here comes the punt. This is Vinnie Burns, averaging 46.5. He's planted one inside the 20.
Good hands on that snap.
Big pressure that time. Kick will take a Hokie bounce into Blue Devil territory inside the 30. And it'll be brought down there. So Virginia Tech punts their way out of trouble. And the Duke Blue Devils have it back at their own 27, 28-yard line. 1st and 10. Now, this isn't the first time that Virginia Tech has faced Duke. They faced each other as conference opponents. Tech, a charter member in 1921, Duke in 1929. In the Southern Conference between 1937 and 51, they met 6 times in conference play as the Blue Devils, taking them all. One of the most famous plays in the series, simply called 18, when Charlie Smith took a pitch and raced 80 yards untouched. It still stands. It's Duke's all-time leading touchdown in yardage on the ground. 1st and 10, Blue Devils. Kurt Dukes is in at quarterback. Redshirt freshman. His first
going to be some bone action.
Yep, there's going to be some option play, and it goes to Doyle, and he's caught quickly on the corner, and having none of that is going to be Jim Davis. Kurt Dukes out of Stony Point, North Carolina. He is a transfer from Nebraska. He did not start there. He came in there as a well-acclaimed option quarterback. We'll see him today, not only in the H-back position or at split end, but we'll see it at QB.
Yeah, Bud Foster's group, the Hokies, well-schooled, well-disciplined on that particular play, and they ate it up.
Schneider back in after the loss of one. Double tight end set and lone setback. That's Aaron Pryor. Big time, Schneider comes out of there, runs into his own lineman, and lost another yard, and then there's a flag after the play. Backed up to the 26-yard line.
He made a great decision not to throw the football.
Watch what's going on down here.
Well, Young feels like he's open. There you go. Now that's what I'm talking about.
Jimmy Williams said, hey, welcome.
This is a football game.
Head ball foul, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, 22, defense, 15 yards, and an automatic first down.
Whoa, that's something that Frank Beamer doesn't want to see happen. Now let's head back down to the sidelines for Mike Hogwood.
Yeah, Schneider was wrapped up and was going down, and then there was a lot of words being exchanged between Schneider and some Hokies there, and the Hokies got the flag.
Duke gets the big break out to their own 42-yard line. Elliott is split wide to the top. The wing to that side is going to be rolling. He comes back in motion, 1st and 10. Handoff goes to Pryor, and he's hit as soon as he got it. Fell ahead. Vince Hall, the first guy to get there. ACC football is brought to you in part by Chevrolet. Welcome to Blacksburg. Steve Martin here along with Doc Walker and Mike Hogwood. Virginia Tech's first ever game in ACC action, and somehow it just seems like a natural. Beautiful day here, somewhat overcast, but a lot better than we thought we were going to get with the remnants of Hurricane Ivan. 2nd down and about 8. Elliott to the top side. Looking that way, Schneider, screen pass dropped in the backfield. Covered up there by Pryor, but it's ruled incomplete. That's Pryor, Aaron Pryor on the incompleted pass. Duke headed in reverse right now.
Yeah, this has not been, it's been a little hard to gauge in terms of momentum. Tech has tried to show now that it's a manhood issue, but they've done it the wrong way. Taking the penalties, they had in the opening kickoff return, they had a flag that cost them field position. Now they've given up field position. They've had an offside, so they really got to get focused in this. Duke doesn't appear to be a pushover.
3rd down and 8. Chancellor Young in motion. Duke up by a touchdown. Schneider, good block on the corner, but not enough there. As Chris Ellis, the redshirt freshman from Hampton, Virginia, is waiting for Mike Schneider.
Again, aside of the unnecessary roughness, the Hokies have been sound on defense. But I still favor what Duke is doing. Don't turn the ball over. You know, don't do something dumb to feed the frenzy. So Ted Roof's group at this point has played right up to par.
Eddie Royal is back to receive the kick of Trey McDonald. The punt on 4th down. That's a beautiful kick. Royal to pick it up at his own 18. Royal threads his way upfield and gets to the 27 or 28-yard line, a gain of about 10. Patrick brought him down.
Excellent coverage.
With help from David Martin.
You see that wall that was lined up? The Hokies had a big-time return right that was set up, but they couldn't get to the wall.
Duke's got the only score on the board, a 28-yard end around from Deion Adams, and they have the lead as Citgo presents ACC football from Jefferson Pilot Sports. That's the family of quarterback Brian Randall, and there he is. From Williamsburg, Virginia. 1st and 10, his 3rd time to the football this afternoon. Virginia Tech still looking for their first score. Double tight end set and a lone setback. Hamilton on the handoff. And Hamilton slices up nicely to the 34-yard line. It'll be a gain of about 6 on the play. Warren Thompson helped in on the tackle for the Duke Blue Devils.
It's easy to see why they are so high on Justin Hamilton. I mean, I like this kid's ability to run hard inside, and you talked about his versatility. That says a lot. Most guys that do things other than just run the ball don't run well inside.
Well, what I got from Frank Beamer yesterday was that they would like to see Cedric Humes create some separation. But I think after this series, they'd like to see one of those two create separation. It'd be the main guy. And Hamilton is putting in his stead today. Here is Randall. Quick pop to the tight end with his complete to King, and he is in Duke territory for the first time at the 47-yard line. Tackle made by Cedric Mason. Another tight end first down. You know, this is the 60. Well, let's look at the replay.
Well, this is called take what they give you. And Randall, that time he threw it. He wasn't set properly, but he showed you his strength. He got the ball out, and Jeff King is the guy that if you're on defense, you don't want to bring down. He's a load.
Well, you like the tight ends, and so does Marcus Randall. 67 of the last 78 passes to tight ends have gone first down. 8 this season. Randall sprints out left. Pass incomplete. It was intended for Hyman. He was leveled immediately by Brian Green.
Well, Green's not shy. At that time he came in, buddy. Let your presence be known in the secondary. This time not a great snap back to Randall, showing you a little rollout. He's set up. Again, just that little bit of pressure at the end makes all the difference in the world.
Brian Green has already stripped off his name tag and says, there are other ways you can figure me out. There's the junior from Kennesaw, Georgia. That's a pretty good defensive secondary. Kent Stanford not in there this week. Daniel Charbonnet is. Stanford sporting an injury, one of 5 starters who will not answer the call this week. Even Cedric Garvin, the leading rusher. Here's the pass to Humes in the flats, and look at him go. He's a load on the outside, all the way down to the Duke 38-yard line. John Talley with the stop.
Brian Steinspring, the coordinator for Tech, great call. I mean, you take advantage of a defense that has shown you a lot more aggression than maybe you've seen in the past, and so you spread them out. Nice little swing pass, catch and run, good blocks on the backside, and Tech starting to gain some momentum.
5th catch of the season for Cedric Humes, the junior out of Virginia Beach. And there's Brian Randall's report card on the day. He's already been picked once. Duke showing blitz. Pass deflected, and it was deflected by Alex Green. The senior from Hyattsville, Maryland, got up high and torpedoed the flat pass.
They nearly had the last swing pass. And the one thing I say is active on defense. You can tell a team that's well coached, boy, this Duke defense, they're doing it right. You get up, you try to become a factor on every play. They're not passing lanes. They're playing the run well. Right now, these kids are competing at the highest level.
It's not a Virginia Tech guessed wrong. They guessed right that the blitz was coming, but they made it stick. Here's Randall on the sprint out. The pass complete. Here's Royal for yardage after the catch. Down to the Duke 24-yard line.
He is special. You don't get to wear number 4 here at Tech unless you bring your game. This time Randall rolled to the right. Love that ground level action, guys. Ball on the market. This is what separates Eddie Royal from the rest of the pack. You watch a nice stem on the route, comes around, gets that hit, turn around, catch, and now make a miss. Make a miss, pick up a few extra yards. Outstanding operation.
His first catch was a touchdown against Southern Cal. 1st and 10 at the 23-yard line after the 13-yard gain. And around Richard Johnson on the corner. Good call. Gets him about 5 or 6 yards. It gets Duke thinking down to the 18-yard line. Malcolm Rupp, the outside linebacker, came up to make the tackle.
Hey, O'Brien. Steinspring said, well, we tried the bully ball. That didn't work, so we'll mix it up. And now we put our athletes on you. And again, like Royal, Johnson can make you miss.
Johnson, a 5th-year senior, was one of the starting receivers, but got brought down after the Southern Cal game in favor of the freshman. And we'll see a lot of them today. Out of the double tight end set, this is Hamilton. He surges ahead to the 10-yard line. I like these 2 backs for Virginia Tech, Doc. They have good size. Hamilton a little smaller than Humes, but good straight-ahead speed. Alex Green on the tackle.
Well, that was a great hold. That time he was untouched. I mean, through the line of scrimmage, which you don't want if you do. That's the best offensive play I've seen so far by the Hokies. That was clean, to the point, and explosive. They are running downhill.
8 yards on that play. Doc gives him 1st and goal inside the 10. Hamilton alone setback. He gets the handoff right side. Big hole. Headed to the 2. Blocked down there by Giuseppe Aguano, but yet it's another 7 or 8 yard gain now, and Virginia Tech showing their power, knocking on the door.
Well, they've turned this into a manhood issue once again, and right now they're winning. That right side of the line, Dunn and Miller and Montgomery, buddy. You talk about spending that offseason squat, benching, power clean, the whole 9 yards. That was a show of strength.
That's the end of the first quarter of play. The Duke Blue Devils have the only score on the board early, but Virginia Tech's about to join them up there. A beautiful day in Blacksburg, Virginia, as the Hokies are welcome to the ACC. More ACC football coming your way right after this. Frank Beamer watching his team set up at the 1 yard line. Trailing the Duke Blue Devils here 7-0. Welcome back. Blacksburg, Virginia. Steve Martin, Doc Walker, Mike Hogwood. Our 21st season of ACC football. Happy to be my 12th. Looking forward to a great year with 2 new entrants and another one coming in next season. And second and goal.
Take this to the right side.
Here it comes. Hamilton over the top.
Oh, my goodness.
By Giuseppe
Lost the
Iguano.
ball.
But he lunged in for it. Giuseppe Iguano did all he could, but they couldn't control where Hamilton would come down once he hit that above the pile hit.
Oh, man. You talk about a function at the junction. Wow. That was everything plus some.
Let's hear the pop. Iguano gave him a pop, but as you see, he fell down into the end zone.
I thought he knocked the ball loose. That was big.
Pace on for the kick. The point after is good. We've got a tie ball game. A sustained march of 10 plays, 72 yards, and Justin Hamilton, the redshirt freshman out of Quintwood, Virginia, takes the ball in from the 1 yard line. He was a key role player in that drive for the Virginia Tech Hokies. As they tie it up at 7-all after the kick after, let's head to the sidelines and more from Mike Hogwood.
Hey, Steve, you may have noticed the sun is out, and who would have thought this with the weather we had the last couple of days? Many thought it would be raining here today, but even if it was raining, no worry about this field. It is in great shape. This is a very unique field. It was laid in here in trays. Underneath is asphalt and a place to collect all the water. And yesterday we saw this huge machine sucking all the water out. It can take a lot of water. It is in wonderful condition despite all the rain of the last couple of days.
But, Mike, why is it so green? Bermuda grass isn't supposed to stay this green.
You're right, Steve. There's a reason for that. Is that beginning in October, during the week, they reverse the process, and while it sucks water down when it rains, they pump air up, fooling the Bermuda grass into thinking that it's still warm outside, so it stays green, doesn't go dormant during the season.
Oh, Mike, I knew you'd have the answer, man. I'm telling you. And he mowed lawns on the side. And that's our All-Tel sideline connection with Mike Hogwood periodically throughout the afternoon.
That's
so,
you know, he was up all night trying to figure that out, making phone calls, you know, doing the due diligence. I mean, what a guy. What a guy.
10 plays, 72 yards, 3 minutes and 10 seconds to execute. Hamilton did it. You've been here through those rain showers. You said that they didn't draw a divot in that Texas A&M game.
No, not at all. I've been here when they canceled the game.
Chancellor Young is going to take the kick straight up ahead. Tried to get outside and got a little life there for a minute. Had it snuffed out, though. Down to the 30-yard line. A nice return. Here's a look at our Progress Energy first quarter stats. Virginia Tech owning things on the ground. Time of, they're owning all of the stat territories, but at the end of the first quarter, Duke was up 7-0 thanks to the turnover.
Well, that last drive reestablished a little bit of Hokie power, but I'll say this. So far, you have to be pleased at where Duke has stood, and I think that there's a lot further they can go offensively.
Jamar Wright is the slot receiver. Corey Thompson, both of those two freshmen out to the wide side. Snyder up there, and an early jump. May have somebody offsides. Saw Virginia Tech maybe move a little quick, but let's see what the call is. There's Ted Roof. Frank Beamer, 18 years here at Virginia Tech, and my, he's built this into a powerhouse. 11 consecutive.
Prior to the snap. Offside. Defense. In the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. It's first down.
Virginia Tech's picked up a couple of penalties here early, so they're in the neutral zone. 11 consecutive bowl bids. Next Saturday, Citgo presents ACC football from Jefferson Pilot Sports. We'll see the Maryland Terrapins, who are dueling with West Virginia this afternoon. They come to Duke to take on the Blue Devils. Check your local listings for the availability in your area. 1st and 5 now for Duke. Same formation. The young puppies are up top. Here's Schneider. Fryer in back of him. He gets the call. Aaron Fryer surges ahead to the 40-yard line and picks up 4 of the 5 needed for the first down. Vince Hall in on the tackle for Virginia Tech.
That is a strong run. Now you say, well, it's only 4 yards, but there's the longest run from a running back standpoint. You got to base this on power football. You can be as cute as you want with formations, but at the end of the day, you are judged by measured by whether or not you can knock the guy off the ball. And right now, Duke is hanging in there.
They're going up against a very, very good front 4. 2nd down and a long one. Play action, Schneider out on the corner. Schneider heading for the flag. Stop right there.
He missed his tight end.
That's Aaron Rouse out of Virginia Beach. He stacks up Schneider, who's still down in front of the Duke bench.
And he'll hate this when he gets a chance to watch the films. It's a little delay to the tight end. Good ball fake action. At this point, he thinks run. He should think pass. Throw it to the big, good-looking, bright guy out there. Whenever you get one of those studs at tight end that are wide open, give him the football.
Aaron Rouse was the first one there, and then administering the hit that has Schneider's head spinning is Vince Hall. And with a word on Mike Schneider, let's go to Mike Hogwood.
Well, Steve, come back to me just a minute. I'm
all right, Mike's still discerning what's going on down there. We're looking over from up top as to the area that they're looking at. They're cradling his head there as they turn him onto his back. Now, Duke doesn't have a shortage of quarterbacks. Chris Dapolito will be warming up along the sidelines, and Kurt Dukes has already come in one play. But Schneider clearly hurt. It could be the head, it could be the shoulder. Looking at the shoulder area, it looks like right now as the Duke training staff is in there. Ted Roof talking to the guys up top. Marty Galbraith is offensive coordinator. Marty has had some pretty good history behind him. Let's look at the play again.
See the tight end, you have a receiver wide open. And this didn't have to happen. You came right in at the end. That second hit, which you're taught defensively. You get a guy, you post him up. Vince Hall came in and he topped him off. That's good defense.
And they're looking at that left shoulder area. Sure is shooting.
So he was exposed, and Vince came right in, as he should.
Yep.
You know, and try to knock the memory out of you. But when you go over the films, and you know, when Marty Galbraith, the offensive coordinator, when they sit down, it's going to say, "Son, he's there. Throw it."
Yeah.
You know, and then we get the first down, and you keep momentum going. When you stop a game, and you're the visiting team, and you see a guy down, it hurts.
Tie ball game. We'll take a timeout and come back and get an update on the injury situation here in Blacksburg. And Mike Schneider goes off to the locker room under guidance. We'll get more on that injury in a moment, but Duke's got an important 3rd down call here. 3rd down and 2. And now a flag on the play.
Dead ball foul. The offense broke the huddle with 12 players. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
12 players in the huddle for Ted Roof's team. And that's a costly penalty. It'll back him up out of a 3rd and 2 and send him to a 3rd and 7.
See, you start to wake the monster up. So you're starting to hear the 12th man now. See, this is what happens. You get the quarterback gets knocked out, then you get a penalty, and all of a sudden the Hokie Nation starts to rise. Now, if they stop this, you're going to hear an uproar, and then you get a chance for a return, and that's what they do. And you have to negate that. Duke needs a big play.
Chris Dapolito now in a quarterback. He's a senior from Manawha, New Jersey. 3rd down and 8. Out of the gun and into the grass. Darryl Tapp, the junior from Chesapeake, Virginia, wraps up Dapolito and baptizes him into this ball game as soon as he got the snap.
That was great coverage in the secondary. I mean, that's exactly what resulted in that play. James Griffith with the coverage. And then, of course, nice move inside by Darryl Tapp.
Done by Trey McDonald. Hits a Virginia Tech player and then runs out of bounds and is marked out at the Virginia Tech 45-yard line. or at the Duke 45-yard line. Watch this, a 22-yard kick.
Oh, man, that was an opportunity there for Duke. Wow.
All right, let's get the latest on quarterback Mike Schneider from Mike Hogwood.
Steve, he came off the field, and you could tell his head was just killing him. He was trying to shake the cobwebs out. They took him right on, as you saw, to the locker room. I think they want to make sure he doesn't have a concussion, but he really got whacked in the helmet.
1st and 10 from the Duke 45-yard line. Excellent field position for Virginia Tech.
It's amazing how things go. You're so close, but yet so far away. 2 yards from a first down, keep the drive going, work on the crowd, yet you get sacked, then you dodge a bullet here on the punt, and now you have Tech with great field position.
They're in your territory to start. Best field position for Virginia Tech this afternoon. Lone setback with Cedric Humes for Brian Randall. Hyman Royal is split wide to the wide side. Johnson to the short side. Looking wide, Randall.
That's a good call.
Randall will get out of it, though. And he's brought down after a modest gain. Randall, and now we've got a flag after the play. DeAndre White is there to finish him off for the tackle.
That's why he's so good. Should have been sacked, ends up picking up yardage.
Dead ball foul. Personal foul. Forearm to the head. Defense, number 29. 15 yards. First down.
DeAndre White gets whistled for the arm to the forehead. That pushes the ball deeper still in Duke territory to the 27-yard line. And Ted Roof trying to keep the cap on this one right now because Virginia Tech is picking up momentum with every play.
You don't want to give them anything, and especially as I prefaced this, the road team, and that's not smart. And it should have been a sack.
Yes,
and that's how close Duke is to doing something big.
Johnson wide to the short side. Hyman the slot man. Royal is split wide out to the right. 1st and 10 of the Duke 27. Scores tie. Here's the pass to the flats to Hyman complete. Hyman inside the 10 and thrown out of bounds at the 10.5-yard line. C.J. Woodard, last line of defense on the play.
This is why you go out to recruit great athletes. That's a simple play. Should be a gain of 3 or 4 yards. But Josh Hyman turns it into a huge play.
Nice
good chip by Royal. But see, make people miss. That's the 3rd receiver now that in space has made a Blue Devil miss.
16-yard gain on the play. Sets up Virginia Tech just outside the 10. 1st and 10 to the 11. Now this play will be blown dead with a flag. We've had a bunch of flags here in this first half.
Prior to the snap. False start. Offense.
Most of it
Number
is the
61.
I don't know if it's us.
First
But
down.
no, this isn't the first game for either of these two teams. This is game 3 for both. Virginia Tech lost to Southern Cal, but played well. They walked all over Western Michigan a week ago. Duke lost narrowly to Connecticut. Lost an opportunity on a field goal to win the game against UConn late, taking an early lead. And they lost to Navy before that, 27-12. 1st and 15. And off Humes. Humes gets it back to the original line of scrimmage and then more.
Well, Humes is a tank.
He is. Casey Camaro, Alex Green up in on the tackle. It's about a 7-yard gain on the play.
Duke is better. If you're wondering where Ted Roof has his program, in my humble opinion, he has it going in the right direction.
Yes.
I mean, his team is physical. It's more physical than I've seen. They're trying to do some things, and this is without 4 starters.
Exactly.
At kickoff today that they were up without.
Missing Philip Alexander and Ken Stanford out of that backfield. Here comes Humes, and a nice pop right at the line of scrimmage, but the second effort finally brought down. Green got him by the shoestring. Woodard to finish him off down to the 4. That's a gain of about 3 yards.
Oh, Cedric is a beast. Now, he was injured early, so he's just really trying to get his game back. But watch the power. This is where you separate yourself as a running back for you high school kids that are watching. That is determination.
That's 231 pounds of running back headed in the right direction. 3rd down and about 3 from the 4-yard line. They can get a first down inside the 1. Man coverage on the lone receiver out front. Here's Humes on the cutback. And Duke is there. And first man there, C.J. Woodard and Malcolm Ross.
4th and 3 for the Hokies.
Along with Brian Green.
They're with attitude. They're with attitude.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this Duke defense has impressed me a great deal. I mean, I like what they're doing. They're not trying to trick anybody. They have had a lot of pressure, good gap control. Everybody seems to do their job. That was huge to force this field goal attempt.
This is going to be Brandon Pace. He's been perfect on every placement kick he's taken so far this season. Field goal attempt for 26 yards is up, and it is good. So Virginia Tech gets field position, but can only get 3 out of it. But they're in the lead for the first time today. Back into this word from your local station.
Experience the Tisher difference for yourself on Route 198, Laurel.
Well, a Hokie in the mosh pit right there. Virginia Tech up 10-7. Their crowd getting into it. All 65,000 strong. They've got Duke bottled up 98 yards away at their own 2-yard line. 1st and 10. Chris Dapolito. Let's go straight ahead. Just get himself out of the shadow of the goalpost here to the 3-yard line.
It's a heck of a boost by his running back.
Well, yeah. And Dapolito playing in place of Mike Schneider, who left with what we suspect was a shoulder injury. The announcers for this game are selected and compensated by Jefferson Pilot Sports. This broadcast is a copyright presentation. Any use of this broadcast without the express permission of the Atlantic Coast Conference and Jefferson Pilot Sports is prohibited. 2nd down, 9 from the 3. Elliott wide to the top side. Double tight end set. 7 in the box, now 8 in the box for Virginia Tech. Aaron Fryer picking his way, wants the 4. But nobody's buying.
Like good teams all work together.
Eric Green
in concert. You look at a little deal like, Benny Burns. You get stopped. Your offense is held. Then you get a 55, 59-yard punt. And then your defense comes in. It's all about field position.
Yep.
And so you don't get discouraged. One facet goes wrong, you lean on the other facet to pick yourself up. And that's why Tech's a complete team. Big down for the Devils.
3rd down and 9. They're at their own 3. Elliott wide right. Double tight end set. Max protection for Dapolito. Back to throw. Almost intercepted. Wow. Jimmy Williams nearly picked that off. Intended for the tight end down there. That was Kalen Powell.
I thought he had Powell. I mean, it looks easy from our vantage point, but he had to pull it up and had to drop it right down. Not the easiest to throw in great athletic play, as you mentioned by Williams. Now, this is a play.
Look at that.
Yeah, that was close. Boy, that was a great play to get up. I thought he had it.
Ray McDonald at the end of his end zone. Hurries a kick out of there. Royal fields it on the bounce at the 42. Royal headed upfield and gets some nice yardage up to the 36-yard line. So a 39-yard punt and a 5-yard return, and that puts Virginia Tech in business in Duke territory for the 2nd time this afternoon.
Royal, what an athlete.
Yes, he is. He's part of a fleet of young receivers. Frank Beamer talked about this recruiting class is probably the best recruiting class he's put together here in 3 or 4 years. And that says something for the type of machinery he's been turning out here.
Yeah, and especially with the success of the Cavaliers and the Terrapins locally, that says volumes.
And especially well in the Tidewater. There's the end around reverse and the halfback throw. It's going to be more. Johnson throwing for Hyman. Touchdown! Josh Hyman. 35 yards downfield from Richard Johnson.
Boy, Brian Steinsprings, what a call, pal. You run a reverse. You talk about change of momentum. The 59-yard kick, you hold them, you get a fairly decent return, and you come right out of the box. And that ball was on the money.
He was waiting for it, and it was in the perfect position. Brandon Pace on for the point after. And the kick is good. And Virginia Tech tacks another one to the board after spotting Duke the first 7. They've scored the next 17. That one in spectacular fashion. Richard Johnson demoted to third team as a wide receiver, may find new life as an alternate quarterback.
Tell you what, boy, the kid has a cannon. It all starts till you believe it's run. Yes, you do. They run the stretch. He sets up. Nice throw right there.
What a bullet. Hey, if Hyman wasn't going to catch it, nobody else
No,
was.
that was it. That's the way you want to do it, man. That's I just like to call. I think Steinspring's call as coordinator to get them on the heels, and that's what they want to do. They want to dominate you. And in order to do that, keep you going backwards and then put that offense on you. Wait till you see the next defensive series. I promise you, Bud Foster Group, they're going to bring everybody. And that's their philosophy, to knock you out of the box and discourage you. And to Duke's credit, they really haven't. They've been a tough opponent. Now they get tough.
Now they're really going to. Their toughness is really going to be called upon. That's Johnson's first career touchdown pass. It's Hyman's second career touchdown reception. There's Richard Johnson. He's a fifth-year senior out of Baltimore. He's caught 4 balls this season for 59 yards, but that time he let one fly, and it was a beautiful spiral of 35 yards.
Well, you talking about how close? So how close has Duke been? You know, an inch or so from that might have been a deflection. You look at the third down pass, they had the tight end open on it, don't get the ball. So they have been so close to this. But you can't afford to let the score get away from you with this Hokie machine.
Ronnie Elliott is back to receive the kick of Jared DeBelli. 5 minutes left to go in this first half. Virginia Tech now up by 10. They trail by 7 as Duke capitalized on an early interception. Came back and scored a touchdown on an end around. Now we have an end around pass. This one going out of the end zone. The second for Jared DeBelli. Of the afternoon. And with a word about the man who threw that touchdown pass, here's Mike Hogwood.
Yeah, Steve, I was at the workout yesterday afternoon when they were just kind of getting loose here on the field. And Richard Johnson was throwing passes like crazy to wide receivers, had a big grin on his face and said, I should be a quarterback, man. I should be a quarterback. Well, he got his chance. I mean, to tell you, yesterday in practice, he was really humming that football.
He was. He was standing in front of him while the kick team was going out. Fridays, usually it's done for special teams. Richard Johnson and a set of wide receivers, as Mike said, didn't have much to do, so they were just tossing the ball around. Little did we know that it would come into fruition this afternoon. 1st and 10 from the 20. Chris Dappolito of the Duke Blue Devils. Hand off Justin Doyle, and Doyle surges ahead off the right side, up 5 yards to the 25-yard line.
Once again, Mike Hogwood, investigative reporter.
Nothing.
Finds all the little things.
You think he's talking to you, but he's watching.
He's watching. He's recording things. Back in his room at night, writing notes. Yeah, Duke now has shown, of course, I like the toughness. Now they've got to get some results. You can't afford a 3 and punt in this situation. You got to move the chains and give your defense a breather.
Second down, 5 yards to go. One set back is Doyle. Double tight end setup. Dappolito to throw. He wants Chancellor Young, but he lofted it too high in coverage. Back there was Jimmy Williams. No change in that West Virginia-Maryland score. They're in the second quarter at Morgantown. San Diego State has stepped ahead of Michigan. Upset victims of Notre Dame last week. Marshall leading third-ranked Georgia. Boy, Marshall took Ohio State to the finish last week. And Miami playing Louisiana Tech this afternoon. Vanderbilt and Ole Miss are tied up. Penn State 11 better than Central Florida of Georgia O'Leary. And Nebraska putting it on big on Pittsburgh. Third down. Our score 17-7 Virginia Tech. Dappolito on the corner. Pass incomplete. Knocked away by Williams. Intended for Ronnie Elliott.
That's a great play at the end by Williams. I don't know what Elliott did. Elliott lucky died at the end of the route. I mean, you got to get a first down. Here, Elliott, top of your screen. You got to come back, son. You can't stay there. You stay. I mean, you say you either take it further so you can come back and still get the first down. You got to give your quarterback a chance.
Excellent call, Doc. Williams made his second deflection of the afternoon. Here's Trey McDonald with the kick. And Royal has it at his own 38. Gets a block from Fuller. And is pulled down by C.J. Woodard. We have a flag on the play. The ball is out near midfield. Virginia Tech has picked up the ball the last 3 times. They've had it at their own 35, their own, or the Duke 35, their own 45.
That's another penalty against Virginia Tech. And I guarantee you, Frank Beamer.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team, number 91. 10 yards, first down.
After a 37-yard punt by Trey McDonald, you can add some more yardage to that, and that backs up Virginia Tech to the 33-yard line. Halftime comes your way in about 4 minutes, and your host is Mike Hogwood. Mike, what do you got for us at intermission?
Well, of course, we're going to wrap up this first half. We're going to talk to both coaches, one at the beginning of halftime, the other at the end of halftime, have all the stats, tell you what's going on in the league. And one of our new features, our big hit of the week, we call it our Hardy's Thick Stick of the Week, coming up at halftime.
He just makes this stuff
Oh,
up.
I know. He comes up with the best things, man.
That's what 16 years on the sideline will do to you.
Man. All purpose.
Frank's
Soccer, just field hockey, you know?
Offense,
Frank is hot.
number 52. 5 yards, still first down.
And Frank has seen his team kind of shoot itself in the foot.
You don't want to be in that locker room.
No.
No.
Because he does not like the mistakes his teams make.
Someone or a group to riot at.
That backs him up another 5 yards after they've already been backed up 15 yards on the penalty. Big rushes on in the first sack of the afternoon. Eli Nichols coming off the defensive end position. Eli Nichols, the sophomore from Crawfordsville, Florida. That's his second sack of the season.
They just give you great attitude. I mean, Duke, again, you forget about records, and we say that a lot in our industry. But, buddy, we're watching it. They're getting it done up front. They're winning some man-on-man matchups, and they're just beating people.
We're talking about Bud Foster, the Virginia Tech defense coordinator yesterday, marveling at the defensive ends in this conference. And Duke showing some today. Randall on the corner, takes it out of bounds at the 26-yard line. And that is going to be a gain on the play of about 7, but it's still well shy of the first down. Well, next week, Joel Statham, the quarterback of the Maryland Terrapins, comes to Wallace Wade Stadium, and he'll take on Brendan Dewan, the linebacker of the Duke Blue Devils. And they're tough defense, as they've shown this afternoon. And we'll see Maryland for the first time this season on our JP Sports Citgo package. We hope you'll join us. 12 noon on many of these same stations, presented by Citgo. Virginia Tech by 10. But they're third down and 17. Their own 30. There's Randall. Nice bullet up front, but it's too tall for Eddie Roy. And penalties have blown up this possession as the punt team comes on.
Yeah, Virginia Tech has a lot of talent, but this has not been a sterling performance by the football team. And their defense has been stout. But offensively and special teams, this is not what they're after. And again, but let's not take anything away from Duke. Duke has played some really good football. They have forced the issue.
Mark Weigel is back in punt formation for Vinnie Burns. His longest today has been 60. And averaging into the 50s. That won't hurt his 46-yard average at all. It's good protection. And again, sends out a line drive. Weigel will try to receive. Gets away from 2 tacklers and is brought down at the 31. He is the third string receiver for Duke because their first 2, Sendario Landrum and Ken Stanford, are out.
And he got no help.
Roland Minor coming in for the tackle there for Virginia Tech.
You put 2 guys out to stop their cover guys, their release people on punt. And he did a great effort just to get away and buy some time. With some help, that might have been something.
Yep. First and 10, Duke at their own 31-yard line. Down here, 17-7. They took the early lead in the first quarter, as they have in their first 3 ball games. Then Virginia Tech with 17 points all here in the second. Zapolito to throw. Pressure is on. He gets away, and it is intercepted. Vince Fuller reached up above the intended receiver, Corey Thompson, and brought it down before going out of bounds at his own 45, 46-yard line.
Now, this is just highlight film here in the making. Single receiver running the corner. There's a guy just wanted it more. Just flat out wanted it more. You cannot allow someone to go over your back as a receiver. You got to go up and get that. They're lucky. That could have been called. Could have been called. Wasn't. Good pressure.
Darryl Tapp.
Yeah, Tapp there with some pressure. I like the fact that it wasn't. It's football.
Yeah, he just got rid of it. And there's no way Tapp could stop. All right, 4 wide outs now. 1 lone setback. That's Hamilton left in for protection. Randall to throw. Pass complete to Hyman, and a good open field tackle made by Daniel Charbonnet. Hyman makes about 5 yards on the play in Duke territory at the 48.
And we talk about a lot of little things. Charbonnet comes in, good form tackle. You have to stop the yards after the catch. You recognize now 2:34 to go in the first half. You got to minimize the bleeding in this. You cannot give up another touchdown.
Royals split wide out there. Johnson in the slot. Again, 4 wide outs. Morgan and Hyman to the bottom side. We've not seen a pass to Josh Morgan today. Here's Randall looking.
Good rush.
Aguano missed. And coming back to take him is Casey Camaro. He scrambles out of the pocket and makes about 4 yards. Still just the same. I mean, Randall doesn't get you negative yards.
No, I mean, that's why he's unique. Terrific leader, can throw it, can run it, always puts his offense, and with the exception of the early throw, in a good position. Has made 2 mistakes, but has also made 4 or 5 big plays. What Duke needs is some help from his offense. I mean, the defense is battling his guts out.
3rd down and about 1 at the Duke 45. Randall handoff Hamilton, 1st down. Gain of 5 down to the 41. Now Virginia Tech still has all of its timeouts left here. This clock will stop to remark the chains, as they'll strive to tuck another score onto the scoreboard before headed to the locker room.
They better get it lined out there. Yeah, for Duke, the victory is to hold them to 3. They've done it once here in the first half.
4 wide outs now. Clowney is wide to the right. Hyman wide to the left. Morgan and Johnson the slot men. Randall will throw. He's got the top side complete for a 1st down. That's Morgan. And he gets it to the Duke 30-yard line. And it's going to be a gain of about 10 on the play.
Steve, Duke has earned his success defensively by applying pressure. I don't know if they can sit back in a soft zone against these athletes and be successful. I like what they've done to this point. You know, Ted's going after it, and here Frank says, man, I want 1 more before I go in and read my team the riot act.
3 wide receivers to the wide side of the field. That's Morgan, Clowney, and there's an attempted shovel pass by Randall. But look at him. Keep his feet and go for more. Randall headed upfield to the 5, into the end zone, touchdown. Ryan Randall turns disaster into delirium.
You know, Kevin Rogers is a heck of a quarterback coach, but he had nothing to do with that run. I'm telling you, baby, that is absolutely what you come to a game to see. A great athlete, a great quarterback, make it happen. That was smart. Don't have the pitch. Now, the rest of this, buddy, I don't know who does it. I know a lot of people who can't.
There's pace for the point after, and Virginia Tech scores 24 unanswered points. Randall with his 9th career touchdown run, his first touchdown run of the season. A 30-yard gain. He has 5 plays and 54 yards as his scoring drive, and they take advantage of excellent field position. Coach Frank Beamer very, very fond of his senior quarterback, Ryan Randall, and here's why.
He's worked to make himself a good quarterback. I mean, he throws a lot better now than he did when he came here. He's worked at it. He knows what's going on. He's been in those rooms and studied that video, and he knows where he can make good decisions on the field. But then, having said that, he's such a good leader. He's such a good person. You can trust him. You want him up in front of your football team talking. Kids respect him. I've said many times, he may be the most respected guy I've ever had on the football team. He's just, he's just perfect. That's all I can say.
He's 4th all-time in total offense and came into today needing 359 yards to set a new mark. He may get that before the day is through. Look at this.
Is Hogwood?
No, I don't think so.
I thought it was Hogwood in costume.
There's his mom. He said, did you see that?
Yeah, I tell you what. We watched Vic do it here. And he's 230.
Yeah.
I don't know if we give him enough credit for his size.
No, I know.
And it's a great feat. We watched him do it against Southern Cal in the opener. And that's a great group of great athletes, rather, and then you watch him do it every week now. It's just what he does.
The graduate student's already got his degree in sociology, did that in 3 years' work. Here's DeVelli with yet another kick out of the end zone. It was touched by Elliott, but not fielded, and it'll come out to the 20. That's the third straight touchback. A little scrum up by the 20, but DeVelli has certainly done the job preventing the Duke return teams from getting in. That's another aspect of Beamer ball as well.
Another weapon. They punt, they get you the kickoffs, they get you the coverage.
They don't leave anything.
Nothing.
No details are left.
Now the penalties have been uncharacteristic.
Well, he'll address that.
Yeah. Can we sneak Hogwood in? I just would love to hear it.
I hope they haven't put new paint on. 1st and 10, Duke at their own 20-yard line here with 1:05 left to go. Everybody's in tight. I don't think Duke will do anything fancy. Get in the locker room and regroup. Here's Fryer. As soon as I said that, he rips off a 9-yard gain to the 29-yard line.
Anytime you can get a run, and you look at Adams' touchdown run, 28 yards, and the other 23 offensive plays, 26. So this kid can give you something, and they need it.
Yeah, well, we've got to get more yards from everybody else here. 2nd down and a yard. Everybody up in tight. Middle of the play. And Duke looking for a first down. That could give them a little bit of hope here.
And their defense has just said, thank you. That's the first down, if they get it, they've had in the last 5 possessions.
Exactly.
And that's what hurts you as a team.
Yep.
Give those guys, look at them. I mean, they're playing hard, warriors. But, you need some help. You're going up against Virginia Tech and a group of outstanding athletes.
Well, all afternoon, Doc, even in the series that have extended beyond 3 downs, they've only gone to 6.
Man, see, so it's tough. It wears on you. You can't give your opponent 30, 35 more opportunities to do some damage than you get.
All right, first down achieved. Clock rolling along. Well, it looks like Duke's playing it close to the vest. Here's the first half. Comes to an end. Handoff goes to Fryer, and Fryer surges ahead. Virginia Tech, ever mindful of allowing Duke the big one. They'll allow him some yardage underneath.
It's amazing you call that close to the vest. I call that smart.
There's the tight end quotient.
There's 3 of them in the game. How can you lose?
Well, they really haven't found much for the tight ends to do this.
So they've been open. They haven't been able to get them the football.
That's right. They've got 3 good ones. Andy Rowland, Ben Patrick, Taylor Powell, and the clock will run out here on the first half. So Virginia Tech spots Duke a touchdown and then comes back with 24 second period points. And they take the lead, headed to the locker room, 24-7. Standing by with Virginia Tech coach Frank Beamer is Mike Hogwood.
Well, Coach, I was going to say for a while you couldn't have been happy with that half, but you finished it up pretty strong.
Well, we did. I still feel like the play's a little sloppy. I think we got to get in here and come out and play a better second half. And I give Duke credit. They're playing hard and playing well, but I want us to play better.
What do you tell your guys you need to do better in the second half?
Well, I think execute. We got a couple of penalties in there that we don't need to be having. Offensively, we've had some malfunctions there, some penalties on first down. I mean, there's enough that we need to get in here and work.
But it sure does help to have a quarterback like Brian Randall.
Yeah, it does. Brian is in control. He did that first interception, but we have to take a look at that. But he's a quality guy.
All right, that's Frank Beamer headed to the locker room. It's Hokies after trailing 7-0 and put 24 straight on the board. Here at halftime in Blacksburg, it's Virginia Tech 24 and Duke 7. Back in a moment.
Jared DeVelli, and the wind probably has been somewhat of a factor. He's put 3 straight kicks in the end zone. Welcome to Lane Stadium in Blacksburg, Virginia. Steve Martin, Doc Walker, Mike Hogwood. Here for ACC football, our 21st season on Jefferson Pilot Sports. And here's DeVelli, and this one's going out of the end zone. Again. So DeVelli's kicked, and I wouldn't say that is totally a wind-aided kick, even though it's a pretty stout breeze up. But from that end zone, you got to get it up in the jet stream a little bit stronger than that. We've got winds here today. You can see the top of the trees rocking. It's 15 to 25 miles an hour, and they're expecting gusts to 35 miles per hour this afternoon, but it's going to be a dry wind this afternoon, that's for sure. 1st and 10. Duke comes out at their own 20-yard line. Aaron Fryer back as the deep back. And he takes the lead handoff into the hole, and he's hit there by Tapp. And also in on the tackle is going to be Vince Hall.
The good news for the Blue Devils is you get a chance to come in at halftime and your coaches get together and you figure out what didn't work, what plays were there that you maybe didn't execute as well on. And now you come out in what is the most important drive of the ball game as far as I'm concerned, and that is to move those chains for the Blue Devils.
Gain of 3 in the first makes it 2nd and 7. Out of the shotgun, 4 wide outs. Empty backfield. Royal in motion. Pass is complete, and it's to Kurt Dukes. Dukes will show up at a variety of positions, that time as a tight end. Pulls it down to the 27-yard line. It's a gain of 4.
May not seem like a lot, but the movement, the formations, had an uncontested throw right there, wide open. So if you can get 2 or 3 of those, you move those chains. He actually had 2 guys in terms of an option he could have thrown to.
Dukes heads to the sideline. 3rd down and 3. Duke trailing 24-7. New freshman Chancellor Young to the top side, to the bottom side, Ronnie Elliott. 3-step drop, and the pop is incomplete. Would have been a 1st down. Elliott had enough yardage, but the throw was low.
Yeah, just poorly thrown. I mean, he had him, but you got to find a way to complete that.
Punt unit comes on as Dapolito vacates the field. Credit to our crew today, our producer Beverly Rumley, our directors Doug Yulacki. Got the husband and wife team of Mark and Jamie Johnson in the group, one on staff, one on stage, and Ben Horton's our spotter this afternoon. Thanks to all of them. Here comes the kick by Trey McDonald. Eddie Royal picks it up at the 35. Up to the 42-yard line. I like, Doc, how he held his hand up. He held his hand out, not up.
Right, there you go. There you go. This kid, he's a player. He's a true baller. Played for Coach Tom Verbanek over with Westfield, and again, a great coach and a champion in every respect. And this young man, I know he's very proud of.
Let's make another all-tell sideline connection with Mike Hogwood.
Well, we were talking about Brian Randall. Frank Beamer said he was perfect, and you can see he's played in 28 games. He's also been a valuable addition to the basketball team. He joined its 2nd semester last year. He's a leader guy. He played point guard, and he hit the game-winning shot in a game against St. John's last basketball season.
He's at the helm right now. 1st and 10 at his own 42. Play action. A blitz is on, but Randall steps up calmly and connects with Josh Hyman. Alex Green brings him down at the Duke 20-yard line. It's a 38-yard hookup, good for 1st down, and they're in the red zone again.
This will be a frustrating film for Duke because they'll be able to show how we had him, but we let him slip away, and you pay the price for failure. Big plays once again by the Hokies. Can't get any closer to a sack than that. Gotta make it. Gotta pull the trigger.
Yep. Duke took a chance. They sent a backer. It didn't work. 1st and 10 at the 20. Out the eye. That's Humes going straight ahead. After Royal goes in motion, he'll get down to about the 17-yard line. It'll be a pickup of 3 yards. Virginia Tech probing right now what could be a touchdown that could break this game wide open. After the early interception, Brian Randall, 8 for 14. He has 8 carries and 53 yards, including a 30-yard touchdown run.
Sink it in.
2nd down, 7. Hyman to the top side. Royal to the bottom side. Randall hands off. Humes left side. Coming up to reduce the gain is going to be C.J. Woodard. Woodard 1st man in, and Malcolm Ruff comes in 2nd. And they gang up and stop the run at the 14-yard line. It's a gain of 3. Brings up 3rd down and 3.
You mentioned number 52, Jimmy Martin, in the open, the offensive lineman. A junior for Tech who really leads by example. Did an outstanding job. I mean, going against some resistance today. Make no mistake about the fact that Duke has been rumbling.
Good offensive line for Virginia Tech. This Beamers find this program in a situation where they've lost a lot of kids to graduation and early departure, and playing a lot of young freshmen. Here comes a handoff to Humes. Slowed once. Iguano tries to pull him down short of the first down. And finally, Nichols is the man to stop him on the 11-yard line. And now they're staring at 4th and 1. And here comes a field goal kicking team.
Less respect for Duke. That really is. Unless it's a ploy to pull him off sides. I think Frank has shown there he has some respect.
Lance Goff is the holder. The kick is going to be a 28-yard kick from the left hash mark for Brandon Pace, who's hit one before. And now that's going to be his 4th field goal of the season. He knocks it through the uprights, and Virginia Tech lengthens its lead to 20. After spotting Duke a touchdown, Virginia Tech's roared back to take a 27-7 lead.
This Wednesday night at 11:30. You've found your Terps headquarters right here on Comcast Sportsnet.
Welcome back to Lane Stadium, Worsham Field in Blacksburg, Virginia, where Virginia Tech makes its home. And right now it's a very comfortable home. There's Ted Roof on your left, the Duke football coach, Frank Beamer on the right. Virginia Tech's first game as an ACC member today. And they're making a good account of themselves. Brian Randall on 1st and 10. Play action going deep. Has Eddie Royal. And a defender step for step. John Talley makes the play and knocks the ball away. Let's go to the sidelines, and we're wondering why Duke didn't throw the football that last time around in that last down. Mike, it'll kind of illuminate that situation.
Well, it's because of the wind, Steve, and it has really picked up down here. It's gusting. It's not a steady wind, but when it does blow, it blows hard, and it's blowing left to right. So right now, Virginia Tech playing with the wind, and Duke going on offense. They're having to go against it.
And that's helped their kicker, Jared DeVelli, put 5 in the end zone, all on the same side. 2nd down and 10 now for Virginia Tech. Here comes a fake end around, and Justin Hamilton takes the ball up in front and gets out over the 45-yard line to the 46, picks his way for about 7 yards.
You know, Steve, I can tell you firsthand about this wind. And last night, I have to give these pilots at United Airlines a lot of credit. Last night, they brought us in here at about 1:30 in the a.m. and it took them 3 times to try to get a landing. The wind was incredibly difficult to deal with.
And it typically is up here in the hills, but last night's remnants of
ridiculous
of Ivan made it very, very windy here. There's Randall, wind at his back. They'll take advantage of it. Good play by Giuseppe Iguano. He was covering Josh Hyman. Virginia Tech looking for a flag, but they won't get it. Iguano, a questionable starter this week because of an injury suffered last week against Connecticut, has made a good account of himself this afternoon.
Yeah, good football guy. He really is. He had that big stick in the goal line and of course, resulted in the score. And I think once he gets healthier, a ball like that, he'll try to pick that off next time. It's good position.
Vinnie Burns has used the wind wisely to his back on 4th and 5. Got a pretty good average today. Mark Weigel is back at his own 10-yard to receive. Looking at an angle. And it is out of bounds. And it's going to be a nice kick down to the 11-yard line. 11-yard kick. 43 yards on the play. Back after this word from your local ACC station.
Pentagon Federal Credit Union.
Welcome back to Blacksburg, Virginia, as Virginia Tech leads here by 20 defensively. Virginia Tech has been very worthy and up to the task. This is what they've allowed, and only 70 yards today. We got a flag on this play. As on 1st and 10, Duke from their own 11-yard line.
And Kurt Dukes in a quarterback for Duke was a great move.
Offside. Defense. Number 91. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
Penalties that haunted Virginia Tech in the first half continue to hurt them in the second, as they'll give Duke now 1st and 5.
Second time they've been caught in the neutral zone. But the offense needed a little change of personality.
And especially if you're not going to throw the ball against the wind, then let's get an option quarterback in there. That's what Kurt Dukes is. This time, though, he's in a pass formation. And he'll run it. Dukes headed for the corner. Wants to turn it upside, and a nice gain on the play of about 10 yards out to the 25-yard line.
You know, do what you do best. Because they've run the ball, tried to run it, you know, you can get some respect on the inside. Here's a kid who's a heck of an athlete who they're trying to find a spot for, and it looks like they've got it.
They put him in what you could probably classify as a passing formation.
Right.
Give him a little something to fake to in the backfield and let him go.
Give your defense a chance. That's exactly what he gives.
Elliott split wide out to the top side. 4 wide outs. Kurt Dukes hands off to Doyle, and he'll take it up another 4 yards to the 29-yard line. Hey, fans, be sure and enter the Toyota You Pick'em contest. Just go online at jpsports.com, which is an excellent site, and click on the Toyota banner. Pick the winner of each week's game and automatically register to win an all-expense-paid trip for 2 to the college football game of your choice, the Toyota You Pick'em contest. Doc, that last play, you know, with Dukes running the football and being a running threat, that makes it better for everybody. 2nd down and 6 after the gain of 4 by Doyle. Dukes to throw. 3-step drop. Got it. And that is Patrick. Ben Patrick, the tight end.
Again, you don't have to throw it all over the place, but you have to be able to make some bread and butter throws. This is it. But you like to see him get upfield because he might have had the first down on the reception. You know where you are. But again, you see they've got some life offensively.
That wind is gusting renewed. It's 3rd down and 1. All of the Virginia Tech 34-yard at the Duke 34-yard line. Hand off inside to Doyle. Picks his way up. There's not much there. Jason Lallis, who returned a fumble for a touchdown a week ago, is up there to make the strong stop and a loss on the play of 2.
Boy, they are so stout on the defensive front. They control the line of scrimmage.
It's Carlton Powell encouraging the crowd.
That was Duke's best offensive series in a long, long while. But they needed to continue with that and to give Tech a lot of credit. Now, here we go with that unusual formation that resulted in a throw and a first down in the first half.
And McDonald threw out of it. Now they'll be more conventional, bring everybody in for protection. And McDonald will punt. And he's got the wind in his face. 4th down and 1. A pretty good kick considering. Royal does not fair catch. Royal kicks his way through. Look out. Up to about the 47-yard line. It was a nice punt on the play, but returned by Royal as the air hung it up. Ben Patrick makes the touchdown-saving tackle on the return.
That's a great job not to pick up a penalty.
It's a return of about 20 yards.
Boy, Frank Beamer and his staff did a great job in allowing this young man to wear number 4. That was Jimmy Williams with the heads-up play.
37-yard punt, about a 22-yard return.
Theo D'Angelo Hall would be proud.
Yes. D'Angelo Hall playing on Sundays. A year early, but that caused some adjustments in the secondary. Now here's Brian Randall with the wind at his back. Harper is in motion. Back to throw. Plenty of time. Now Randall zips it. Almost intercepted. Brian Green got his hands on it, intended for Justin Harper. Ball was at the 15-yard line.
Brian felt this time, I'm going to just give my receiver a chance. We can say ill-advised, but, you know, sometimes if you have playmakers like Tech does, you just give them a chance. But that time, the defense beat him to the punch.
2nd down. Clowney is up to the top side. Hyman to the bottom side out of the I formation. Here comes the option to the corner. Randall calls his own number and surges ahead for about 6 yards. You know, Ryan Randall at halftime with 125 yards of total offense. He sits just 234 yards away from snapping the school record for total offense in a career, and that's held by Maurice DeShazo. He passed Will Fuhrer and Don Strock. He's 2nd all-time in total offense at Virginia Tech. You know some pretty good names he passed.
Better believe it. Shazo, I think about that Independence Bowl team.
There's the Virginia Tech faithful. And that's his mom right there. family all sitting together. 3rd down and 5. Randall back to throw. By 20. Got the 1st down and more. Randall into Duke territory. Late flag thrown into the play at the 30-yard line.
This might be one on each side of the ball.
Brian Green with the tackle after a 20-yard gain by Randall.
Yeah, and this kid is he's just good, flat out good. It hurts you so many different ways. Maybe a late hit at the end.
McElwee, our referee, getting ready to make the call. A little bit of discussion going on there. Virginia Tech here 27-7. Duke got the first touchdown of the game, set up by an interception in Virginia Tech territory.
Offense.
Ooh.
Number 17. 10-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Wow, that erased a 20-yard gain. And the holding call was from the spot of the foul.
The yardage gain result.
Middle of your screen, he had to, oh yeah, that's flagrant. It's flagrant. I mean, you want to protect your quarterback. As an offensive player, you'll do anything to protect your QB. But I think that might have been a bit unnecessary.
ACC football is brought to you in part by Toyota. Well, the penalty negated a 20-yard gain, but it did not negate the 1st down. It cut it down to 10. And it is 1st and 10, Virginia Tech at the Duke 40-yard line. In motion, Roy. Ryan Randall, play action. Pass complete to the tight end, Mazzetta. I'm sorry, that's his 2nd pass reception of the season. The 5th-year senior out of Flemington, New Jersey.
Remarkable athletes, man. They seem to always know where the yard markers are.
Those 1st down guys.
And those tight ends.
I'm telling you. It's incredible. That's a 9th 1st down by a tight end this season.
Yeah. It's amazing. I'm surprised teams don't line up 5 at a time.
Who's going to protect the quarterback?
Oh, they can do it.
1st and 10. More on that later. Here's Cedric Humes. Cuts up inside. That's the running room. Has another 1st down. And gets to the Duke 17-yard line. It's a gain of 13.
Well, this young man is starting to really crank his game up. And we talked about the injury in the preseason. It held him back, and it takes some time, but boy, it's coming. If I'm on Duke now, defensively, they got to start trying to pop the ball out. They've got to force a turnover.
Well, it was a high ankle sprain that actually turned into a broken leg.
Yes.
For Cedric Humes in spring practice. Happened in April. 1st down, back to throw. There's the flat pass complete to the tight end, King. He makes a tough tackle. Daniel Charbonnet had to tackle in the open field. That's no easy task for the 263-pound tight end out of Pulaski, Virginia. And the pass is good for about 3 yards. Brings up 2nd and 7.
Dwayne Brown, another specimen they can throw at you. Stacked at the tight end position.
Red Roof inside the red zone for the 4th time this afternoon. You see the result there. Justin Hamilton now trying to pick his way off left tackle. He gets himself down to about the 11-yard line, and it'll be a gain of 4.
And he ran right in the back of Jeff King. Big tight end trying to block on the onside. And Virginia Tech just chewing up clock.
3rd down and about 3, trying to take advantage. Going to the air as much as they can possible. Take advantage of the wind at their back as they'll be going at their face in the 4th quarter. Out of the I formation, 3rd and 3, up by 20. And the throw to the end zone, touchdown. Richard Johnson. He's thrown for a score, and now he catches one.
Well, if you don't get in his face, it's virtually impossible to stop. I mean, that was a laser. I know Johnson, who has thrown one, shows you a great backside route. I mean, this kid came right down the tunnel the way you want to do it. Showed his numbers. Ball was there. And he's defended well, but not well enough.
Randall's first touchdown pass of the afternoon. Brandon Pace with the kick that is good. He's perfect in all of his kicks this season. Well, let's look at that play again.
Again, the play action always helps. slows him down. No pressure. Ball on the mark. Again, pretty decent coverage, but he found the sweet spot. Ball right between the 1 and the 2. Watch the route. Good push. Comes across. Squares up. Beautifully done.
Richard Johnson, second touchdown that he's been hooked up with today. First he threw, then he receives one. Let's go to the sidelines and Mike Hogwood.
Well, there are many traditions for this team and some of the things that they have done this season, but in one way to get them together, and I know this has become a pretty popular thing around the country, but these guys wear armbands, little orange rubber bands that say Team United on them. Significant, obviously, that they want this team to operate as one unit. Offense, defense, special teams, and togetherness is a big part of the Virginia Tech football family. And they say that these orange bands really do help, and they really do help them stay focused on the fact that they are united in one big unit and one big family.
Virginia Tech, very united in this second half. There's Brian Randall and that group. That's a good way of showing leadership in the community. There's the armband, that wristband that Mike talked about. Jared DeVelli has been outstanding on kicks. All of his kickoffs have been to the right end zone. He's got extra wind at his back here in the second half. And this one will go almost through the uprights. Oh, I'm telling you. Jared DeVelli, true freshman, becoming quickly a crowd favorite.
You know, Mike Hogwood talks about the armband, and they didn't finish the year the way they'd like to. It was uncharacteristic for the Hokies, and I think Mike Beamer wanted to make sure they emphasize getting the return to what they're accustomed to.
Yep, certainly. This fall, watch for the Geico College Football Campus Tour. It's a season-long traveling exhibit celebrating the 10 greatest college football coaches of all time. Go to cbssportsline.com for more information and find out when Geico will be visiting a college campus near you. First and 10, Duke and Dukes. Kurt Dukes airing it out. No. Is it complete? No, he trapped it. Ronnie Elliott, the intended receiver. The ball popped off the grass into his hands. And it would have been a nice opening play for a drop.
You got to believe the wind's a factor again. He's wide open. It's a good call. You face right in the middle of the zone. Yeah, boy, great camera work.
Instead, second down and 10 at the Duke 20-yard line.
What we do? We get some new people? I got to mess with Gary.
Gary Parsons still there. He's what I want to be when I grow up. Second down and 10. Play action. Duke's into the wind. This one floats up and out of the reach of Mark Weigel with double coverage there. He had James Griffin, whose nickname is the Heat Seeker, in back of him, and Roland Miner in front of him. Doc knows how to endear himself to the crew.
Oh, Parsons, he'll be, man, he'll be all over.
Butch and Lance and all those.
They had to take the first shot at it. You know what I mean?
Well, this is a big reason why Duke's down. 0 for 9 on third down, and they're looking at 3rd and 10. Kurt Dukes, third quarterback of the day, hands off. Aaron Fryer not going far. And the wrap-up tackle of Jonathan Lewis. That front four for Virginia Tech has been outstanding. Burchett, Davis, Lewis, and Darryl Tapp.
And when you think that they had a receiver wide open, on first down.
Yeah.
And that's been really indicative of the entire day for Duke. So close, but, not able to pull the deal off.
Well, they'll have the wind at their back in the fourth. But we still at all 2 and 23.
Shot on this one. This is coming back.
Roughing the kicker. Fair catch called for this time by Richard Johnson, who fields that punt. But this kick is coming back. It's going to be a roughing the kicker call against Virginia Tech. Coming up next week, more ACC football presented by Citgo and Jefferson Pilot Sports. 21st ranked Maryland taking on these same Duke Blue Devils. We'll get our first look at Ralph Friedgen's 2004 edition. We hope you'll join us on many of these same stations. High noon from Wallace Wade Stadium in Durham. And let's look at that roughing penalty again.
Well, Beamer's kids are so good. They're smart. I mean, that's not the way they work on it. They want to go right to a point where the ball will be, not where the kicker is.
Hometown guy, Corey Price, Gets in there a little hard that time. Walk on. And that gives Duke more life. Going into the wind, Kurt Duke's back there. This is an interesting formation. Power formation that puts Royal right up the middle. They had almost like 2 H-backs on the right side of the formation, plus a tight end.
Right. 3. I told you, you get 5. What's wrong with 5?
There's nothing wrong with it, I guess.
There's some guys out there who can help you win.
Well, Marty Galbraith agrees with you. And Marty is, that's an interesting addition to the Duke staff, because Marty is the guy who, the offensive coordinator for NC State behind Phillip Rivers. There's rushing yards. 7 Tech.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is.
The Hokies.
Duke's hands off. Here comes Doyle. Or Boyle, rather. He gets straight ahead to the 45-yard line. And good movement by the offense this time. It's going to be 3rd down and 1.
What Ted Roof and Coach, what they've done all the way across the board has changed the mindset of the Duke offensive lineman.
Speaking of linemen, Jim Moravchik is the Duke lineman catching breath there on the field. Only one returning starter, Christian Mitchell. The center is Dan Mooney, senior from Bay Village, Ohio, and his father played at Virginia Tech, 1966 through 68. I want to say hello to Dan Mooney's dad. He's watching today down in Charleston, South Carolina. There's your son right there.
And we're awful proud of this young man, too. He's had a heck of a day. And they're not a passing team. They're a team now that's multi-dimensional offense, but they won't get away from the run, and I think you create more of a toughness in terms of your mindset.
Well, Kurt Dukes has shown us, really, Doc, what the future may look like here at Duke, as he has shown multiple area of skills. There's that formation again. 2 tight ends, 2 H-backs, and a tight end to the right side. An empty backfield now, and Duke's going straight ahead. He may not have it.
No, he doesn't.
Duke tried more deception than power that time.
Yeah, I go with the power. Let your horses on the edge give you a shot. But you know what? Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't, but I'd go back in and crank it up. I'm going to go out, and I'm going out with the sword in my hand.
They're going after it again. Now this time they put up, still open backfield. 1 yard to go, 4th and 1. Dukes has it. Oh, what a play by Kurt Dukes. And he gets a yard shy of midfield. Not only the first down, but 3 extra yards to boot. Ted Roof called on his club to show some character, and their backbone stiff.
You know, we watched Cedric Humes with a big run, a guts run, as I like to reference it as. Well, this is a guts run. I mean, it may not have been there, but he created it. And that offensive line, and that was a surge. And that was big time.
Final 30 seconds of this 3rd quarter, and it's been at least 6 minutes since we've seen the Duke defense on the field, and that's good news this afternoon. They played a lot. There's Kurt Dukes. One more play, and now the wind at his back.
Oh, got it.
Airs it up. He's got Thompson. No! Didn't catch the ball. Ball was there. Should have been caught.
I thought slant. Great alignment. Get the wide split. Make him think slant. He goes fade. Good pass pro. In a terrible conditions with the wind. The ball is right a little bit behind, but hey, it's never going to be perfect. It was enough to get a big play, and for the second time in the second half, Duke has failed to connect on a play of 20 yards or more in the air.
Eric Green made a nice play defensively. Green has already got 7 career interceptions.
He made a good play, but he had nothing to do with that one. Nope. That was a drop.
That was a drop. And now it's a timeout. Timeout on the play here, called by Kurt Dukes with only 8 seconds left to go. Duke with 2 remaining here in the second half. Well, only 2 weeks passed in this college football season, but there have been several fantastic finishes in the ACC. Week 1, Wake Forest, Clemson. Number 2, overtime number 2, Charlie Whitehurst and Kyle Browning hook up an 11-yard touchdown play. Deeks unable to answer, and the Tigers will win there. And then just 10 days ago, Florida State, Miami, another overtime. Chris Ricks fumble. That sets up Frank Gore running 18 yards into the end zone for a Hurricane victory. in the overtime. And Georgia Tech had better luck in Death Valley. Freshman receiver Calvin Johnson caught 2 touchdown passes in the last 2 minutes of the game, stunning Tiger players and their fans. Reggie Ball, the sophomore quarterback, connecting for Georgia Tech. Dan Gailey's team, not an awful lot of preseason regard, but look at them. They beat a very highly considered Clemson Tiger team, and that just goes to show you it's a wide open race. Doc, we know that Miami and Florida State may be the cream of the crop. Virginia has shown with their big win over North Carolina a week ago that they might be the 3rd best team in the group. Maybe ready to join the first 2.
They are brutal.
They are brutal, and then
physical team with skills all the way across the board. And I tell you what, the Cavaliers, I can't wait to get a chance to see them up close and personal. But from what I have seen thus far, but you better bring your fungo bat when you go to take them on, because they are stacked.
And, of course, you take a look at the ACC this week. We've got Maryland, West Virginia in progress. Louisiana Tech and Miami in progress. Later today, Virginia hosting Akron. Later today at Raleigh, NC State and Ohio State. Tonight, Georgia Tech at Chapel Hill to play the Tar Heels. Wake Forest hosting North Carolina A&T. Florida State at home tonight against Alabama, Birmingham, and Clemson with a tough road game at Texas A&M. You talked about Virginia, Miami, and Florida State, and what happens between these teams from Virginia Tech to NC State to Georgia Tech to Clemson. You got a lot of balance in there, and who's going to step ahead of that pack and join the top?
Well, it's going to be teams that minimize those mistakes, because everybody's tough. Everybody has an upside. Beautiful conference.
8 seconds to go in the quarter. 2nd down and 10 on the corner. Dukes throwing downfield. Has a man open, complete. And that is Jamar Wright, the true freshman from Duncan, South Carolina. It's a 31-yard pass hookup, and it gets Duke down inside the 20 to the 18.
Well, finally, they were able to connect to a big one. Got to give them a lot of credit in the fact that they didn't give up with the deep passing game. They kept going with it, but this was blocked extremely well and opens up some hope for the Duke Blue Devils.
Sights and sounds of the first ever ACC football game in Blacksburg. Virginia Tech leading Duke through 3, 34-7.
Wake up with Sports Rise every morning at 6 here on Comcast Sportsnet.
Welcome back to Blacksburg. Virginia Tech leading Duke as Citgo presents ACC football from Jefferson Pilot Sports. Our 21st season, but our first season with Virginia Tech as a full member of the ACC. Miami's in with them. Boston College comes in next year. Duke football now moving at the Virginia Tech 18-yard line. They've had the football here for about 3 or 4 minutes. Here's the blitz. Dukes goes down. It is Darryl Tapp who comes in unblocked off the end, screaming in on Kurt Dukes.
Cyborg. That's exactly, I mean, he's earned it. I mean, this kid has been coming in hard all day long, and I was waiting for a breakthrough play, and that's it. I mean, if they know you're going to throw, that's Virginia Tech, then you are in a world of trouble.
Look at our stats through 3 quarters presented by Yamaha. Everything's piled up on the Virginia Tech side. 195 yards rushing, 363 total yards today for the Hokies. And but Duke has had the time of possession, including the last 3 or 4 minutes of the 3rd quarter, and now here in the 4th. And they just had only their 2nd offensive play of 20 yards or better.
And that's with about 6 in a row, 3 in punts.
Yeah.
You know, so that says volume for the time when Duke was rolling.
But Kurt Dukes has the wind at his back, Doc, here in the 4th quarter. He's the 3rd quarterback of the day for the Blue Devils. Mike Schneider was knocked down pretty hard. Now we're going to see what this young man can do. Pass nearly intercepted twice on the play. Let's see. James Griffin had 1 crack at it, but Vince Hall had the first.
Boy, that is scary. You know, you can play defense with the score, and that's what Tech is doing now. But they had this one smoked out. I mean, you talk about bracket coverage, double coverage, whatever you want to say. He was not open.
Tell you what, Griffin, the rover, really covered a lot of ground to get over there.
He was on his horse.
Yep, he was. And they have the linebacker, the Mike linebacker, which is Vince Hall, in position on the tip. 3rd down now. And 19. Back to throw. Dukes looking, mix-up communication on the pattern. Corey Thompson ran an out, and he should have ran an up and out. Because there wasn't a Duke Blue Devil receiver in the vicinity.
No, that was a little show of strength there by Bud Foster's boys. They they kind of turned it up a bit, and they needed to because the momentum has started to shift for the Blue Devils.
Well, they kept the ball a long time, and now they're about to attempt a field goal of 45 yards. This is Matt Brooks. Longest of his career is 44. Wind at his back. It's down there long enough, and it is good. So a career-long 45-yard field goal for Matt Brooks caps an extended possession for the Duke Blue Devils. They're first in some time, and Ted Roof's crew adds 3 more points to the board, and they trail here 34-10.
Well, under the circumstances with that win and all the same factors that Mike Hogwood has shared with us about the conditions and surface, that's pretty good. But I suppose that was a week ago, and Duke would have a win.
Yeah, they wanted him to kick a 33-yard field goal last week, and that was for the win, and that didn't happen. But he comes back this week and kicks a 45-yarder. Duke took the lead in this game as they have in the previous 2, and there you see an idea of the wind, and that's at its calmest. The drive ate up 13 plays, took 3 minutes and 45 seconds. A roughing the kicker penalty kept the drive alive, and Brooks capped it with a 45-yard field goal. A 53-yard march.
The defense says, thank you, thank you, thank you.
This comes out somewhat refreshed now.
Well, they get a chance. And this is, again, when you have injuries and then you're light in terms of depth, this day like today really compounds your problems.
Let's see what Chris Sprague can do with a win at his back. Well, Ted Roof came in here with a definite recipe for victory. And what was he trying to cook up today? Well, limit the X plays of 20 yards. They've had 3. They've created 1 turnover in the 55 plays. They wanted 1 every 25. We'll get back to that in a second. Here comes the kick. It is fielded by Royal at the 5. Royal up the center of the field, and he is brought down. Brought down by Bailey at the 18-yard line. And let's see one more. No yards allowed after contact, and that's where the Duke Blue Devils have fallen apart there. 100 yards allowed after contact this afternoon. So the recipe gets a little sour, a little too much salt.
I'll tell you what, buddy, that bottom stat, you have to recruit that.
Yeah.
That's what recruiting, where it pays dividends.
1st and 10, Virginia Tech. Unit they're faced and out their own 18. Up here, 34-10 before the home crowd. First 3 games at home. And Humes carries up over the 20-yard line for a gain of about 3. Davis in there, the true freshman for the tackle. There's Cedric Humes. He's a load, a junior from Virginia Beach.
I got a feeling about another 6 weeks or so, if Cedric stays healthy, that all the things they thought he'd be and do, he will have done.
Decides to do it. They've always had great running back. Kevin Jones here, of course, last year. Play fake for Randall. Randall going to the sideline, incomplete for Royal. Tally covering on the play, and there was pretty good pressure on the backfield as Randall hit the turf. Well, there's a guy in the middle to make things go. He's the center, and more on Will Montgomery. Let's send it down to the sidelines of Mike Hogwood.
Steve, he's a redshirt junior, and this is Will Montgomery's first year playing center. He was a guard a year ago. They moved him over because not only is he a great blocker, he's also very intelligent, knows all the calls. They put a lot of responsibility on their center. He has to make all the line calls up there, and Will Montgomery's been doing a great job of it today and all season long. He's a walk-on who earned himself a scholarship.
Succeeds Jake Grove, who was the Remington Award winner last year. Here is Randall stepping out of the pocket, steps out of 1 tackle. He's on his way to the sidelines, and maybe more. And finally chased out of bounds at the 41-yard line.
We go back to that statistic that Ted Roof said keys to victory. Now put another 25 yards on runs after contact. I mean, most kids in the country right now are sacked, but this is why he's exceptional and strong. And he can run. I think the guy's got the whole package. It's fun to watch.
Gain of 23 yards on the play. Brings up 1st and 10 at the 41. Cedric Humes. The eye back, going the left side. There's more running room for him. Now Humes carries tackle. Edwards brings him down along with Brian Green, but they're in Duke territory at the 40-yard line. And it's a gain of close to 20 right there for Cedric Humes. Got a player down.
Yeah, they can ill afford to lose anyone else at this point. I mean, it's been courageous effort. Good player like Brian Green, who jogging off the field, and I sure hope this is not a major.
There is no foul on the play. First down.
Brian Green was holding his breath on that one. He said, all right, we'll take that.
Jim Pine was a center when I first did Hokie games.
Yep.
And great one, an All-American. They have produced champions in the offensive line here at Virginia Tech.
They're chewing up some yardage. Maryland now steps ahead of West Virginia. They have a wild one up in Morgantown. Michigan up by a field goal in the fourth over San Diego State. Aaron's scoreboard. 1st and 10, Virginia Tech. They're at the Duke at the 41. Here's the pass to the sidelines. Almost complete to David Clowney. How much yardage there? About 4 yards on the play.
But we talked about the wind. Now he's throwing against it, and that's a long out. But he has some mustard on that one. The numbers 11 carries, 97 yards. When your quarterback can get you 100, and you've got the caliber of running backs that Virginia Tech has, and just Humes and Hamilton, smoking.
Clowney and Hyman are split wide out. 2nd down and about 6. Clowney comes back in motion to the slot. Here's Randall. Spinning to the corner, and he goes down. Justin Kitchen put the heat on. Kitchen already has an interception today. And he had some help there on the sidelines.
Well, he didn't have eyes in the back of his head. This time he was kind of waiting for a route to open up. That didn't. I think any of us that saw Eli Manning get whacked last week in the NFL, boy, if defensive lineman comes from behind, it's tough to avoid.
Demetrius Warwick cleaned up the play, but it was Justin Kitchen that helped initiate the loss of 5 by Brian Randall.
See what that rest did for that defense? See? They got a rest. The offense held the ball a little bit. Whole different squad.
3rd and 10. Let's see if they can hold them here. Virginia Tech's been pretty good on 3rd down because of Randall. He's run himself out of some spots. This one's picked off by Lally. Talley, he's a sophomore from Duncan, and he comes upfield. His 2nd interception of the season. The first one was returned for a touchdown, and he stops the Virginia Tech drive.
Well, there was pressure. That was great coverage. Boy, I continue to say this. If you give Duke a shot, give him some air. I'm talking the offense now for the Blue Devils. These kids have shown that they can play. They have some ballers. When you put a helmet right in the quarterback's gut, then you go pick off a pass. Buddy, that's good defense.
2nd turnover for Virginia Tech, and the 2nd pick thrown by Brian Randall today. Jason Talley coming up with it, or John Talley. That's his 2nd interception this season. 1st and 10. Kurt Dukes winded his back. Double H-back set and a tight end strong left. He's looking right. Has Corey Thompson out there with Eric Green. And Green with good coverage.
Yeah, very good coverage. So had a little jump ball action. There's nothing happening. The one thing I noticed about Duke, and I noticed it pregame, is that they have made a tremendous commitment to the weight room. I mean, those guys, they look good. You can tell that they have really been hammering the weight. The team is a physical team. Despite the score, I mean, I'm impressed. We've been doing Duke football for a long time. And I see some makings here of a good football team.
2nd down and 10. Duke at its own 42. Handoff goes to Fryer, and Aaron Fryer has some running room up to the 44 or up to the 40-yard line. And with more on another Virginia Tech tradition, let's take an all-tell sideline connection to Mike Hogwood.
Thank you, Steve. The defense at Virginia Tech believe they have a lunch pail, blue-collar mentality. So much so that, they actually bring a lunch pail not only to the games, but to practice. And the guy who brings it and is responsible for it each week is the guy who had the best grade the week before. And this week, that's been defensive end Darryl Tapp. He has had the responsibility of keeping this lunchbox around the defense.
I got a feeling he's going to have it next week as well.
They're down in 7. Dukes with the option. Carries his own, but doesn't go far. And guess what? Number 71, Tim Sandage, a junior defensive tackle of 304 pounds from Madison Heights, Virginia, made sure that play went for nothing.
Well, they were expecting it, and that's the difference when Duke could come out in a different formation and surprise them with things. Road tap.
4th down and 8. Here comes the kick. Trey McDonald. Johnson now to receive, and he's headed to the sidelines and knocked out of bounds. Jonathan Ruff.
At the 27-yard line. 22 Malcolm Ruff was the defensive player on the play for Duke.
Change of possession. We're going to commercial with 10:21 left to go here in the 4th quarter. It's Virginia Tech 34 and Duke 10. 10:21 left to go in this 4th quarter. Virginia Tech making their initial sail into the ACC, their first conference game, and they lead it 34-10. Citgo presents ACC football, our 21st year of coverage from Jefferson Pilot Sports. Day has turned out very breezy, but the rain has gone away. A very dry day here and a beautiful day for football. Brian Randall staying in for one more series. Here is Justin Hamilton. And not much yardage on that play. They were going to make a quarterback change. Why didn't they, Mike Hogwood?
Sean Glennon had already warmed up. He was actually out in the huddle, and when the timeout happened, Glennon came over, and I think Beamer decided that he just didn't want Randall's day to end on a bad play. He wanted to get in there and leave this game, leave this day with a positive feel. But I thought it was kind of funny because Brian Randall had hidden his helmet under the bench. He really went scrambling to go find his hat to put on to get back out there.
Well, he could be Virginia Tech's all-time total offense leader by the end of the day. That might have something to do with it.
I agree with the move that Frank Beamer just made. That way those movement lines are light up tonight.
So far, the first 2 plays since Randall have not been good. Hamilton's been stopped, and now we got a penalty here.
Quiet to the snap. False start. Offense. Number 89. 5 yards. Still 2nd down.
That makes it 2nd down and 17. Let's take a look at some scores on our Hummer scoreboard here. Well, West Virginia's come from behind to tie it up at 13-all. They're having a defensive battle in Morgantown, West Virginia today. In the 4th, no change with Michigan up by 3. Georgia struggling, but getting by Marshall. And Miami, no trouble breezing over Louisiana Tech there at the head. 2nd down, 17 for Virginia Tech. Randall, the quarterback. Hamilton, the setback. Nice cut back into a hole. And he gets up over the 30-yard line to the 32.
That was strong. You like to see guys who can cut back, and it works because that offensive line, that backside, they stay on body. Guys stay up, no belly floppers on that offensive line. Yeah, watch them work. So you see all the big people up. Nobody laying on the ground, flopping around. It's good movement.
Let's gain on the play, about 12 yards, brings up 3rd down and 5. And back to throw. Pass is incomplete and through the hands of Richard Johnson. He agrees, but Brian Randall doesn't seem to find too much time zipping a ball into it.
He's been cutting it. I told you that last out, in the last possession, he threw across the field. Had a lot of heat on it.
Should have been caught. Wasn't, but here comes the punter. Now we'll see what Vinnie Burns does. Into the wind. Mark Weigel, with all of the injuries to punt returners, he's their 3rd punt returner for Duke. Burns on the day, August of 60. This one goes in shape. Weigel will run. And Weigel, intent on hanging on to the football, gets himself up over the 40-yard line. The tackle made by Chris Ellis. We've got a timeout on the field. Virginia Tech by 24 over Duke in the 4th. The Cadets are in full force here at Virginia Tech. And they've seen their hometown team take a stout 24-point lead here. They spotted Duke the first touchdown of the day. And then they have not looked back since, allowing Duke a field goal on its very last possession. Kurt Dukes is out there. He's been running the show for most of the second half. Third quarterback we've seen for Duke this afternoon. 34-10 Virginia Tech. Duke first and 10 at its own 41-yard line. Handoff goes to Fryer. And there's not much room there. Actually, that's going to be another ball carrier. It is another true freshman here for Duke, and that is Tim Ball. And he's a true freshman out of Carrollton, Texas. Flag down on the play, however.
Face man, 5 yards. Defense, number 75. 5 yards. Still first down.
And there's the face mask. Yep.
Boy, Frank Beamer, he's got enough ammunition now to really make it a spirited week next week, keeping his kids from not getting too high, but keeping them focused.
Comes Duke, first and 5. They're on 46-yard line. Virginia Tech has NC State here next weekend. There's the pass to the flats, picked on. Blake Warren. Brought down by Blake Warren.
Yeah, great move with the interception. Donnie Warren, my old teammate in Washington. His son showed he has no Dutch's hands on that. He read this all the way, Steve. Playing the linebacker spot. Number 40 out of Centerville High School. A great tradition at Centerville High School. And they've been reeling off championships. And, buddy, that brings, I'm very proud of this young man. I watched him grow up. His old man, one of the best tight ends in the National Football League in his great career. One of the original Hogs. There's his son, a defensive player, showing some great hands. And a hard worker. His brother's there as well. He's got another brother at Centerville High School. So we're happy for Dutch and his son, Blake.
Blake playing that middle linebacker position that time.
He read that one, buddy, like a dime. He saw it was all over it.
Sean Glennon, now the new quarterback, finally gets his chance into this ball game. He's a true freshman. He, too, like Blake Warren from Centerville, Virginia. And he'll take over the reins of the offense at the 11-yard line. Looks like the chain broke here.
His brother Brett, his brother Brett is also a member of the Hokies squad.
Yep, Brett's a true freshman.
Mike Skinner's club out of Centerville, they have definitely created a monster.
We've got a lot of famous fathers in this game. Talk about Charles Young.
Oh, yeah, Charlie True Young of USC, 72 national champions of Southern Cal. And
Russ Grimm's got a son here. Look, headlines would look over and say, hey, you guys want to wait? We're working with some pliers over here. We're officials. We're not blacksmiths. Come on. We're not shoeing a horse.
I don't think I've ever seen the chain break have a problem in about 15 years.
They got a backup pole here.
I wonder has Hogwood seen that happen before in his 17 years of this.
Here's Brian Randall. And Randall has put it on the dart this afternoon, not only in the air, but also on the ground. He has a 30-yard touchdown run to his credit. He's taken some hits this afternoon, but Brian Randall continues to move himself up the total offensive charts at Virginia Tech. Randall on the handle. 12 for 24, 138 yards, 12 carries, 93 yards and a touchdown, but he's tossed 2 interceptions. And let's get more on this chain controversy from the man who probably can get to the bottom like no other, Mike Hogwood.
This is a backup chain, actually. What you have to do is they keep them in a back room somewhere. They had to run to the back room and get the backup chain to come out because the other one's broken.
Well, did the chain do some snaps or take any reps before it came in? Cedric Hughes chugs up to the 7-yard line. And did it break again? Cedric Hughes having a pretty good day for Virginia Tech. As we roll ourselves down inside of 8 minutes. 34-10 Virginia Tech, and they're inside the red zone again.
He's just solid, man. He's a big, strong kid who this thing. You see him watching it get better and better every week.
Sean Glennon, double tight end set. Handoff goes to Hughes. It's attack in the backfield. Alex Green is there, but also helping out on the play is Kevin Wilson. And there's John Talley also in for
Jeff King, big tight end, out clearing the way.
Gain of about 3 on the play. That gets the ball down to the 4-yard line.
The Hokies almost play with 4 tackles. When you look at King and Zeta, we were talking about those big tight ends. The kids are close to 270 pounds.
And gets close to a first down.
The offensive line jumped a little bit on that one. They were lucky on that play.
I didn't see any flags. You said they're coming back.
I thought it was coming back.
Yeah. It's 4th down and inches. Virginia Tech. The offense says, let's go for it.
Last time they kicked in a similar situation. This time, Brian Steinspring, the offensive coordinator, who, by the way, is also in charge of the big boys up front in the offensive line. He's going to put it on his kids.
Out of the I formation again. 3 tight ends in the formation now. Now we've got a whistle and a flag. And this may change the decision.
Ball foul, illegal substitution, defense, 12 men on the field. We'll measure to see if it's a first down.
They're going to measure half the distance to see if they get the first down. Well, no, that's the second time this afternoon that that's happened to do.
There's some big people on the field now. Gore is about 353. The 3 tight ends are averaging about 270 pounds across the board. The Hokies are huge.
They get the first down, so they'll have 4 cracks at it now from the 1-yard line. Kinzer, Humes, and now King joins the backfield as an extra blocker. Double tight end set. Humes to the top side. Touchdown. 1 touch.
That's brutal.
Cedric Humes, 2nd touchdown of the season. His first of the afternoon, and Virginia Tech lengthens its lead to 30. 40-10.
Wow. Stevie, the manpower they just put down there in goal line is pretty impressive.
Sure do. The interception by Blake Warren set all of this up. It is up, and it is good. By Brandon Pace, Cedric Humes scored, and the resultant point after pushes.
Best name in the business. Experience the Tisher difference for yourself on Route 198, Laurel.
Virginia Tech with Cedric Humes' 1-yard touchdown run, tacks it on, and they are up by 31, 41-10 over the Duke Blue Devils, looking for their first conference win, and comfortably in that direction right now. And here is Jared DeValley. Now let's see if this kid's for real with the wind at his face. He's kicked 5, actually 6 out of the end zone. Now he's going to kick it down. And picking it up is Chancellor Young, and he runs into
the other Warren. That time, he can tell you what, he comes in. That was a big hit covering down and watching on the like L1 and Brett Warren this time. Another linebacker out of Centerville High School. Took his blocker and threw him right into the ball carrier.
That'll put Duke up there at the 22-yard line. Officials are talking over where this is going to take place, though. Now we have an offsides call against Virginia Tech. So they were offsides on the kick. It'll be interesting to see if Duke makes him kick it over. While they figure that out, let's take you through the Hummer scoreboard. They're going into overtime up at West Virginia, where Maryland and West Virginia in the border war. And we'll see the Maryland Terrapins next week. Michigan up 24-21. They're closing out in the 4th at home against San Diego State. Georgia 10 better than the Thundering Herd of Marshall in the 4th at Athens. Miami cruising over Louisiana Tech. And Vanderbilt leading Ole Miss, having a great game in the SEC today, 23-20. Penn State up big on Central Florida. George O'Leary's first year as head coach of Central Florida. And Pittsburgh now has got their feet underneath them after trailing 24-3. They've come back with 14 unanswered points of their own.
I thought Pittsburgh would be better than that first score indicated. I was a little surprised at that.
Yeah. Well, they're at home.
I'm happy for Coach O'Leary, too. I want to see him be a success.
George, Central Florida has a lot of talent down there. There's Mike. There is Brian Randall. Has his sociology degree already in his pocket. Got that in 3 years. That's an amazing young man. And very steady quarterback. 28 starts now for Frank Beamer. There's been, there's been some turmoil in the offseason with this program, but he's weathered it all. Chick rolls down, and again, Chancellor Young gets a chance to take it. Right up to the middle. Right, some tacklers with him out to the 36-yard line. Nice return there. Now we know Virginia Tech's first official ACC contest was a women's soccer matchup, and it came against Maryland on September 3rd up in College Park. And the Hokies would come away with a win thanks to 2 goals by freshman Ashley Stinson. And Ashley ahead of the long kick. She'll take care of the goal there. Hokies win it 2-0 over Maryland. That's their first ever ACC competition. They're going to make their first journey into the football conference successfully. Kurt Dukes. Inside handoff. Goes to Boyle. Justin Boyle. Ahead of Virginia Tech, not only a matchup with NC State, but also a matchup with West Virginia coming up. And they lost and played well against Southern Cal, swamped Western Michigan, pretty much do the same here to Duke. Then they have NC State and West Virginia and Wake Forest. 3 tough games.
That's
NC
tough.
State here at home.
That's rugged there, buddy.
Yep. They've been used to it. Having to play Miami every year since they've been in the Big East. Handoff goes to Ball. And Tim Ball. Nice yardage up over the 50-yard line and into Virginia Tech territory at the 47. Coming up, our Citgo ACC game of the week. We'll go to Durham, North Carolina. Head out there on Tobacco Road and watch the Maryland Terrapins, who are locked in a life and death battle with West Virginia. We'll see 21st ranked Maryland next week at Duke. Ted Roof's team. Check your local listings for the availability in your area. And it comes your way at high noon. 1st and 10, Duke, Virginia Tech side of the field. And Kurt Dukes will call his own number after the fake to Tim Ball, and he gets it up to the 45 of Virginia Tech, a gain of 3. Here's what's ahead of Duke. They have Maryland at home, non-conference game at home against the Citadel, and then they go to Georgia Tech, have Virginia at home, at Wake Forest, at Florida State, Clemson at home. That's 4 very difficult games right there, and then they wrap up against North Carolina. They hold the Liberty Bell between themselves and North Carolina for the first time in 13 years.
Yeah, last year, the way since Ted Roof took the team over, the winning end was favorable.
Tim Ball with a carry again on 2nd down. 3:49 left to play.
Unfortunately, when you pick up the paper tomorrow, you look at the score, you'll think, well, Hokies just rolled, and the Hokies did roll. But Duke was courageous. I mean, they were strong. They fought hard. They had a lot of opportunities.
They're down in 5. 41-10. Duke trailing in this game. Kurt Dukes, they were without 6 starters. Here's Tim Ball, and Ball is getting some good yardage this afternoon, and he gets up to the 34-yard line of a true freshman out of Carrollton, Texas, 6'1", 205. As you said, it's been a very good recruiting year for Ted Roof. And that 55, that has special meaning here at Duke. 55, the number of Micah Harris, and Harris was the fine defensive end for the Duke Blue Devils, who was killed in an auto accident this offseason. And really a loss that shook the Duke program all summer long. He was an outstanding young man, an outstanding defender.
Prior to the snap.
And catch on the collar of Coach Ted Roof.
5-yard penalty. First down.
Penalty against Duke that time. And, of course, you take Micah Harris out, obviously, and Philip Alexander, his running mate on the other side, is lost this season with an injury last week. They have 5 starters who are not available for today's game. First down and 15 now for Duke. We're under 3 minutes to play. They're down by 31. Delay handoff, Tim Ball picks his way off through some solid blocks. Up ahead and gets inside the 40-yard line, almost back to where the original line of scrimmage was before the penalty, to the 36. Tim Ball. So encouraging finds on the recruiting field. Both of these schools. Frank Beamer said yesterday, this is our best recruiting class in the last 3 or 4 years, and he's showing a lot of true freshmen out there. Sean Glennon is one of them, sitting next there to Brian Randall. Second down and 12. Here comes Dukes. That's a good call. Yes, it is. Tuck it under and run, and get yourself some running room up over the 30-yard line to the 29. It'll bring up third down and 5.
You remember last year with the 4 seniors on the offensive line. You know, Duke, we said, boy, they went through some tough times. Now they had the seniors being just like that. They're back to it again, but this group's a little different. This group is better than the last group was at the same time. That's my point. These kids are physical. You know, the spots where they're young, but they are aggressive.
4 wide receivers into the pattern and 1 back, Tim Ball, and the backfield with Dukes, and Kurt Dukes will take it on his own, looking for the first down. Ball pops loose. Duke will pick it up, but this will set them back. And he was down at the 27-yard line. That would have been short of the first down, but they're going to lose about 7 or 8, maybe 9 yards on the play. Bring up 4th and long. Minute 15 left to go as time ticks away here in the 4th quarter. Virginia Tech's first foray into the ACC is going to be a successful one this afternoon before a sunny crowd of 65,000. Not a final yet. Maryland scored first time in overtime. And now West Virginia will get the ball on the Hammer scoreboard. 4th down and 11. Back to throw. Here's the pass, complete. Touchdown, Duke. Jamar Wright on the hookup on 4th down. A 35-yard touchdown hookup. And the Duke Blue Devils continue to make points to themselves as they start thinking ahead to next week.
It just confirms what I was talking about, why I'm impressed with this team. Don't think for a moment that the Hokies didn't want to snuff this thing out. I mean, this is not a gimme. They earned this. Great throw and catch.
Jamar Wright with the score, the 35-yard hookup, the first career touchdown pass for Kurt Dukes. Here's the kick after by Matt Brooks. Now that makes it 41-17 with 44 seconds left to go here in Blacksburg. 9 plays, 64 yards. That's the longest time of possession that the Duke Blue Devils have had this afternoon.
You know, it's so easy to give up. You know, when you're a road team, you come out, things don't go, you know, like you planned it, but there was no quit in this group, and a lot of that credit deserved by that man right in the screen there, Ted Roof.
Different attitude here at Duke. It's only the 3rd play of the afternoon, over 20 yards for the Blue Devils. Something that probably Frank Beamer will point out to his football team as they prepare for NC State. That ought to be a great battle. I think really the Virginia Tech NC State battle is probably the first shot you fire in that group. Who's going to take that spring and join Miami and Florida State and maybe Virginia? I think the team that comes out of that one does. A lot of people thought that Virginia Tech, because of the losses of guys like Kevin Jones and D'Angelo Hall, would have to struggle this season. I think that's probably overstated. I think a team like Virginia Tech, a program like Virginia Tech, they don't rebuild, they just retool.
And I think they were, and I know for a fact that they felt snubbed a bit at the ACC League meetings in terms of the rankings of what people thought they'd finish 7th. Yeah. You know, this is a proud program. And their young people have taken it personal. And you never know what freshmen are going to do. So you have to wait and see. Well, we've seen.
Well, one of the things that Coach Beamer told us about yesterday was the chemistry of this group is the best that he's had on his team in quite some time. And he likes a team with a lot of young guys in there. And especially with a quarterback like Brian Randall, running in with a lot of those young receivers. Kick out of bounds, that'll be a penalty. And that'll give Virginia Tech the football at the 35-yard line.
You said it. I mean, next week's game with Maryland and Duke, he likes the young kids because he has that guy there, number 3. Randall controlled it. Ralph Regent, he's like some kids too young. You know, if he hadn't bringing his quarterbacks back.
Exactly.
Joe Statham, who appears has done a pretty good job up at Morgantown because they're in a dogfight, and for the first time for a young quarterback, that's pretty good.
Well, that'd be if Maryland were to win that game, that would have quite an effect on West Virginia because they are carrying the banner of the Big East now. And a lot of people had high hopes for a top 5 finish for that team. All right, the ultimate in respect being shown Duke here by Sean Glennon. He'll take a knee and allow the clock to run down here a little bit as time is just about to expire. The sun finally comes out after a day of wind and a couple of days of rain. And it is a beautiful day for football. The pads come off for Brian Randall. The job is done this afternoon, and Virginia Tech is about to come off with its first ACC win. Final score, West Virginia scores in overtime. They get 6, and they beat Maryland 19-16 in Morgantown. So a huge win for the Mountaineers, and we'll see the Maryland Terrapins next week in Durham. And time will expire here in about 5 seconds. Ted Roof comes across the field to chat with Frank Beamer, and history has been made. Virginia Tech is officially in the Atlantic Coast Conference. It's where a lot of people felt they belonged all along, and they win this afternoon over the Duke Blue Devils by a score of 41-17. 65,000 saw it. The Hokie Stone came into play, and Virginia Tech is a big winner this afternoon.